Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Reborn Mantis, devouring flesh and blood to start infinite evolution. Chapter 1. Barren mountains and jungles, dense trees and grass, chirping insects and birds. On the branches of ancient trees, Lu Qing fell into a daze as he looked at his own catching foot, which was like a small sickle. What's going on? He clearly remembers that the global spiritual energy is recovering and the world is moving towards a high level of martial arts. With extraordinary talent, he emerged as a genius with the help of the jade pendant. But the world is full of wealthy families, and resources are severely monopolized. If you want to obtain resources, you have to be a dog to the wealthy families. Unwilling to become a lackey of the powerful family, he used his own power to shake this decaying tree. Relatives and friends betrayed each other, and the people became numb. It was hard to cry alone. His most trusted girlfriend invited him to watch the sunrise on Tianan Mountain. But he didn't expect it to be a dragnet, with 300 top experts setting up an ambush and siege. During that killing, the sky was dark and the earth was dark, and the mountain top was stained with blood. After all, they were still outnumbered. You really think that with a little bit of strength, I will be obsessed with you and wander around the world? You are so naive. His girlfriend sneered. The head on your neck is worth a lot of money, enough for me to live a comfortable life. Since you are so, if you love me, then you should die for me. The sword pierces the heart, and the vitality fades. He saw her nestled in the arms of the young master of the Qin family. It turns out that my understanding of human nature is still too shallow. Human nature, people, hee. Don't be stunned, eat quickly. I finally picked up a big meat worm. Single quote. A voice suddenly appeared in his mind and interrupted his thoughts. Turning around, I saw a thicker mantis eating a dead milky white flesh insect. Lu Qing instantly understood that this was a unique communication of consciousness. Well, this is no longer the world before. I traveled to a wonderful and unknown world. The hunger in the belly makes the big meat worm look full of temptation. He followed the other man's example and used his sickle to pull up a piece of meat, and then bit it. Flesh value plus 0.1 feet. Any tips? Another bite. Flesh value plus 0.1 feet. System. Lu Qing was so excited that he quickly found the panel hidden in his field of vision. Race. Common mantis. Level. Low level first grade 0.210. Skill. Swipe evolvable. Spread your wings can evolve. Can it be upgraded? The more flesh and blood you eat, the faster you level up. The big meat bug in front of you is not a bug, it is an experience pack. Licking the experience pack will make you bigger and stronger. Lu Qing completely lost his psychological burden and started feasting on the big meat bug. He ate so fast and hard that the mantis next to him was stunned for a few seconds. Qing Yi, you are crazy, aren't you afraid of bursting yourself? Single quote. His wings are greener than the others, so this is his name. The opponent looks bigger than me and a bit stronger, and his name is Wang. Lu Qing had no time to pay attention to it and continued to focus on gaining experience. Flesh value plus 0.1 feet. Flesh value plus 0.1 feet. A large meat bug is more than 3 times larger than a mantis. It is said that eating 1/10 of it is considered a great appetite. If you eat any more, your stomach will really burst. However, Lu Qing has not stopped eating since the beginning, and now there is less than half of the big meat worm left. But he didn't feel full at all. After the flesh and blood entered his mouth, it was directly converted into energy and stored. Wang had already eaten and was now watching Lu Qing eat under a leaf. I planned to eat it for 3 to 5 days, but I didn't expect you to be killed in just one meal. Qingyi, why doesn't your belly get bigger? Although he can communicate with very high-end consciousness, Wang's IQ is obviously not enough. The biggest abnormality he can detect is Lu Qing's belly. Lu Qing said casually, maybe I'm in a good mood today and digest it quickly. Wang actually thought it was very reasonable. That makes sense, I eat more when I'm in a good mood. Single quote. Lu Qing did not continue to pay attention to it, but continued to eat. Finally, when only the last small piece of the big meat insect was left, the system prompted. After the energy is accumulated, will it evolve? Single quote. Evolution. Single quote. Energy instantly spread throughout the body, and an ultimate sense of comfort followed. The chirping of insects and birds seems to have become much clearer at this moment. When he came back to his senses, he found that the color of his body had become a bit lighter, and his body had also become 1/3 larger than before, about 10 centimeters. Before, he looked at Da Zhuang as being a lot bigger than him, but now the situation was completely reversed. The originally ordinary catch was full of spikes and serrations, and even had some luster, making it look very sharp. Open the Properties panel. Race: Lightsaber Mantis. Level: Low level 2nd grade, 0/20. Skill: Powerful Swipe, evolvable. Spread your wings can evolve. As the level increased, the skill swing changed into a powerful swing, while the other one, wing spread, had no change. It seems that as long as you upgrade one level, your skills will become stronger and your strength will increase. At this time, Da Zhuang was howling. Qingyi, why are you so big? You were clearly smaller than me just now, why did you suddenly become so big? Lu Qing came to his senses and said, if you eat more, of course you will grow stronger. Reasonable. Da Zhuang waved his sickle and flapped his wings behind him. You are so strong now. The Lord will definitely favor you. Once you get the Lord's favor, you will have the opportunity to mate with him and pass on the family line. I'm really envious. It really envied it. Being rewarded by the Lord once is Da Zhuang's biggest dream in his life. Mantis: females are strong and males are weak. After the reward, they will be eaten. Even so, it is a dream engraved in Da Zhuang's bones. Lu Qing disdained it. If the hands had not become sharp knife feet, why would there be any reward from the Lord? I'm not that stupid to die after being rewarded once. The male mantis in this world only has one chance to reproduce in their lifetime, and then they will be eaten to nourish the females. Da Zhuang was stunned for a moment. We are dead, but we have our own offspring, and we will continue to live. We eat so much and grow so big, isn't it just for the reward from the Lord? How can we be stupid? There is only one powerful female mantis as the Lord in a territory, and every year she will choose the strongest male mantis to mate. That is to say, every year there will be a fool who will be eaten for a few seconds of happiness. Isn't it good to be alive? Why do you have to be so desperate to find a Lord? Listen to me, cherish your life and stay away from female mantises. Da Zhuang's wings word, for glory, for descendants. Forget it, I can't give you any advice. It's still more important to upgrade yourself. The most urgent task is to find prey, and also see how powerful your sickle is. Lu Qing began to scan with his triangular eyes. Soon he locked the target. It was a caterpillar eating leaves. The green worms in this world are not ordinary. Each one is the size of a finger, with the standard low-level 1st grade strength. The most important thing is that they live in groups. There are more than 30 in that area, and their comprehensive combat power cannot be underestimated. However, their weaknesses are also obvious, that is, they have no wings and their crawling speed is also relatively ordinary. I can use my flying ability to catch one each time, so that all these green worms will become my meal tickets. After making a plan, Lu Qing spread his wings. What are you going to do? Eat. Da Zhuang was completely sluggish, and his mind was somewhat confused. Ah! Didn't you just finish eating? Lu Qing flapped his wings and flew, his body crooked. I'm not full. Da Zhuang was alone on the tree branch. A fat and huge meatworm is enough for me to eat for 10 days and a half months, but what happened? You ate it all in one meal, and you are still not full. After all, it was my first flight. Although I didn't fall down out of instinct, it was really not beautiful to fly. One didn't look carefully and crashed directly into the ancient tree. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and the sickle accurately hugged the tree trunk. Turning his head, he saw the caterpillars in the distance still enjoying the delicious tender leaves. 2 caterpillars huddled together saw this scene and laughed wantonly. What was that thing that just flew over? It was so rubbish that it actually hit the tree. Hiss, it looks like a small mosquito. Cack. Lu Qing was angry. He was actually laughed at by 2 caterpillars. Wait. Flying requires skills. After practicing a few times, he has mastered it. This time, he aimed at the target and went straight to the 2 caterpillars. The 2 caterpillars were unaware of the disaster and were still showing off their affection recklessly, belittling every single species. Lu Qing was furious and aimed at the fattest one. He quickly attacked with his sickle and hit the caterpillar's head accurately. Strike with all his strength. had a power bonus, and his sicklefoot was also strengthened after the upgrade. This attack directly chopped off the caterpillar's head. The other sickle clamped the caterpillar's body and used the rebound force of the branches and leaves to change direction and take off again. No, my dear Feifei. Feifei, who only had his head left, didn't understand the situation at all. What happened? That mantis stole your body. Woo-woo, my dear Feifei, Gu. You, why are you drooling at me? Lu Qing turned his head and saw that the caterpillar had already started to chew on its companion's head. Under Dazhuang's gaze, Lu Qing put the caterpillar on the branch. The other party came back to his senses and exclaimed, "Ah, you actually caught a green worm. Is it difficult to catch?" Of course it's difficult to catch. The teeth of the green worm are very powerful. Once bitten, you can't get away. Xiao Hai was very hungry and went to catch a green worm. His leg was bitten, and then he was killed by the group. Xiao Hai is another companion. The green worm is not small, and its skin is tough. Ordinary mantises are first level and first grade. Whether it is strength or sickle feet, it can't reach the point of killing instantly. In addition, there are many green worms. Once they are entangled, they will rush forward and it is difficult to get away. Lu Qing's strength has improved rapidly, but he has no concerns in this regard. He hummed casually and prepared to eat. Let's eat together. Dazhuang dragged his stomach and crawled a few steps. I can't eat at all. Single quote. Lu Qing didn't care about it anymore and continued to lick the experience bag. Blood and flesh value plus 0.1 feet. Blood and flesh value plus 0.1 feet. It feels very good to watch the experience value rise little by little. Just when he was eating heartily, he suddenly heard Dazhuang's reminder. Bird, run. At the same time, a black shadow swooped down. When Lu Qing heard the word bird, he was instantly shocked. Without time to think, he gave up the caterpillar that was still halfway there, and flew towards Dazhuang with his wings frantically flashing. There was a tree hole there, and it would be safe if he hid in it. The bird's sharp claws brushed the outline of its wings. It quickly changed direction and ran straight after Lu Qing again. Lu Qing used all his strength on his legs, and the bird swooped down and got into the tree hole. The next moment, the bird's beak squeezed at the entrance of the hole. Looking back, the bird's beak was less than 1 centimeter away from his body. Too dangerous. Lu Qing hurriedly squeezed into the tree hole again. The sharp claws stretched in, and after grabbing nothing, a cold voice came out. You hid pretty fast, little guy. You're lucky this time. Birds can communicate. This world is so dangerous and wonderful. Through the tree hole, you can see the brown bird pick up the body of the green worm and put it in its mouth. Looking at his experience pack being eaten by the bird, Lu Qing was furious. I'm not strong enough, there's nothing I can do. The system can view basic information, and he immediately pulled out the information. Race: Ironbeak bird. Strength: low level 5th grade. The race advantage is obvious, and its strength is several times greater than his own, and it is simply unmatched. After the ironbeak bird finished eating, it looked at the direction of the tree hole again, and then flapped its wings and flew high. Dazhuang trembled, leaving. Tentatively wanted to go out. Lu Qing stopped him. Don't rush out, wait a minute. Aren't you leaving? What are you waiting for? Dazhuang is too naive, and he will suffer sooner or later. The world is dangerous. If the iron-beaked bird doesn't go far, won't we be out for nothing? That makes sense. Qingyi, you are so smart. The two mantises squeezed into the tree hole, chatting casually. The moon accompanied the starry sky. Dazhuang had already fallen asleep with his paws folded. Lu Qing, however, managed to withstand the disturbance of his biological clock. The iron-beaked bird would not move at night, and the caterpillar had also fallen asleep. So now is not a good opportunity for me to eat meat. He forced himself to be energetic and quietly moved out of the hole. The caterpillar will live on the broad leaves. In the night, its own color blends with the color of the leaves, making it difficult for powerful predators to find it. However, this did not bother Lu Qing. He landed on the leaf where he caught the caterpillar yesterday. Sure enough, the remaining one was sleeping soundly, spitting small bubbles from its mouth, looking extremely sweet. But it didn't know that in the night, the butcher's knife had already reached its head. The knife fell, and the body was torn apart. Then he ate it with relish. Blood value plus 0.1 feet. Blood value plus 0.1 feet. The whole caterpillar was reduced to 2.5 points of blood value. At this rate, 8 caterpillars can be upgraded. Lu Qing continued to look for the next victim. After eating 8 caterpillars in a row, he heard the system prompt. Upgrade. Yes. Energy washed his body, and the sleepiness from the biological clock instantly dissipated. Race. Pink Blade Mantis. Level. Low level 3rd grade, 0.250. Skills. Powerful Swing, evolvable. Spread Wings and Fly High, evolvable. Both skills evolved. The previous body was about 10 centimeters long, but after this upgrade, it has grown to 20 centimeters. The body size has doubled, and the strength is even stronger. Lu Qing raised his sickle and found that it had indeed transformed into a light pink color, and the sharp spikes on the blade were bright and shiny, which looked sharper. With increased strength, he naturally ate faster. Keep working hard. It may be that after the level was upgraded, the energy contained in the caterpillars was somewhat weakened for him, and it took only 2 bites to increase the blood and flesh value by 0.1. But he would not dislike it, as long as it could increase. The caterpillar lord turned over comfortably. What a wonderful night, comfortable. Single quote. As a caterpillar, the life of a worm is simply too pleasant. Eat as soon as you open your eyes, and sleep after eating. Is there any more pleasant life than this? Little ones, it's dawn, get up and eat. It roared, and then went straight to the newly grown tender leaves. After eating a few bites, it realized that something was wrong. Normally, if he called out, the little ones would rush to the tender leaves, but why was there no movement today? Little ones. It looked around, but saw nothing. What was going on? He looked closely and saw a caterpillar head on the leaf, rolling with the branches. Ah, my beloved concubine. It crawled over, looked at the head on the leaf, and then drooled. Who killed my beloved concubine? Doo-doo is dead too. All the little ones are dead. The caterpillar lord flipped wildly, his anger rushed into the sky, and the branches creaked. Lu Qing burped. He worked hard all night last night, took down 2 caterpillar nests, and gained experience. His rank was also raised by 1 rank again. Race. Red Saber Mantis. Level. Low level 4th grade, 0.980. Skills. Violent Swing, evolvable. Spread Your Wings and Fly High, evolvable. Yes, the pink sickle has advanced again and turned red. The body has grown to 30 centimeters. With such a body size, it is definitely a giant among mantises. Lu Qing's body grew larger, and his flying ability also improved a bit. In a flash of wings, it had returned to the tree trunk. The tree trunk that was spacious yesterday was a bit narrow for him today. It was impossible to get into that tree hole. Da Zhuang, come out. After calling out, Da Zhuang woke up with a groan. He seemed to be angry about getting out of bed. As he walked out of the tree hole, he complained, I had a full meal yesterday, so I will sleep a little longer today. What do you call it? Be careful, I will flatter you. After walking out of the cave, the complaints stopped abruptly. The strong body was trembling, and he raised his triangular head in disbelief to look at the huge sickle shining with red light in front of him. Behind the sickle is a thick body like a hill. Qing Yi, are you Qing Yi? After spending many days together day and night, Da Zhuang can still recognize him. Lu Qing waved the sickle, sawdust flew into the air, and a large gap was cut in the tree trunk. How about it? Da Zhuang looked at the tree trunk that had been cut and shouted, it's too fierce. Super fierce. How did you become so tall and powerful? The Lord has to tighten his legs when he sees this. Lu Qing put away the sickle and flapped his wings. The more you eat, the faster you will naturally grow. That makes sense. What are you eating? Lu Qing threw a caterpillar to it. That's it. After 1 night of eating, I made 2 nests. The remaining one is for your breakfast. Such a big one. Da Zhuang was stunned. Greenworm. You brought 2 nests. Yeah, it's easy. It's really easy, just like eating at a buffet. Da Zhuang shouted in shock. Now we're in trouble. The caterpillar lords are very vindictive. If you take away their nest, you won't let us go. Let's move quickly, hurry up. After it finished speaking, it dragged the body of the caterpillar and ran away. Lu Qing smiled calmly. Why worry, caterpillars are like a buffet to me. No matter how many they come, it's useless. Dazhuang felt something strange on the ground, looked down, then trembled, and dropped the body of the caterpillar along the trunk of the tree to the ground as if he was frightened. The caterpillar lord looked at the corpses of caterpillars that fell in front of him, and suddenly became furious. It was indeed them, they were the ones who killed my people. Come on, little ones. On the ground, there were hundreds of caterpillars crawling densely, pupae crawling towards the big tree. Dazhuang was instantly frightened, and his forelegs were in disarray. It's over, we're trapped. They will hunt us endlessly. Find a place to hide quickly, or if that doesn't work, change your territory. It heard something strange, turned around and saw that Qingyi had actually flown down. Are you crazy? There are caterpillars all over the ground. Isn't this just sending you to death? Dazhuang almost cried. Two friends in this life. Xiao Hai has been poisoned by green insects, will Qingyi do the same now? Of course Lu Qing is not crazy, he is extremely excited now. There are many caterpillars in this forest, but they are too scattered and difficult to find. Now that we are together, isn't this just a matter of contributing to the great cause of upgrading ourselves? For Lu Qing, who has 4th level strength, 1st level caterpillars are definitely a buffet delivered to his door. After falling, the caterpillars screamed and swarmed over. However, Lu Qing's red sickle is extremely sharp and can often kill 2 or 3 with one slash. In just a few swings, a vacuum was cleared. Kids, keep me. The caterpillar was not afraid of death and rushed forward. Lu Qing was naturally not polite, and attacked with 2 sickles and red shadows. The strength of the 4th grade against the 1st grade is absolutely crushing, and they are directly harvested without even a chance to parry. Dazhuang was stunned. I knew Qingyi was fierce, but I didn't expect it to be so fierce. The rough-skinned and thick-flesh green insect was extremely difficult to deal with. When faced with Qingyi, he had no ability to resist at all. Green blood splashed everywhere, and green worms died under the sickle. The eyes of the 4 caterpillar lords all turned green. My son. 2 of the caterpillar lords were really anxious. Originally they came here to help with the revenge of the same enemy. Unexpectedly, the enemy was so cruel and killed the sons and daughters in a short time. If I don't take action, I'm afraid I'll be harvested. A caterpillar leader spit out a ball of worm silk from his mouth. This ball of worm threads began to expand after being spit out. When it arrived in front of Lu Qing, it had become a small net. He had no idea that the caterpillar lord had such a skill. He couldn't dodge for a moment, and the small net's inherent stickiness caught it on his secondary foot. Race. Insect Lord. Grade. Low grade 4th grade. The reason why the thief didn't provoke the caterpillar lord last night was because the other party had the strength of the 4th level. Now that he has been promoted to the 4th level, he is also good at attacking, so he will not let it go. The other caterpillar lords also followed suit, using their unique, magic, attacks to spray wildly at Lu Qing. I stuck a few on them in a hurry, which was a bit embarrassing. He has no means of long-range attack. If he continues to be sprayed like this, he will probably be tied into a rice dumpling. As expected of the 4th grade, even the green insect lord with weak attack power can still entangle him. After Lu Qing dodged several small nets, he flapped his wings and took off without hesitation. But in the blink of an eye, it had disappeared among the dense leaves. This mantis escaped. A mere mantis dares to provoke our green worms. He is lucky to run fast, otherwise he would have torn the mantis alive today. The 4 lords vented their anger furiously. The green worms who survived by chance started to shoot. The lord is mighty and invincible. How dare a small mantis? If you are a step slower, our lord will let you sleep with him. With a mantis, it's too cruel. I am actually excited. The 4 lords half straightened their bodies and enjoyed the flattery complacently. At this moment, they felt something falling on their heads. Looking closely, they found that it was the small net they spit out. How can a net fall from the sky? They turned their heads and looked up with their IQs not up to standard. A huge dark green shadow was swooping down quickly. The sickle shone with red light and went straight to the head of one of the green worm lords. Have you ever seen a sword technique that falls from the sky? The sudden attack made the 4 green worms unable to spit out their nets. The one that was chopped by the sickle had no time to dodge and was chopped directly on the head. Ding sound. It couldn't be cut in. Lu Qing flapped his wings to cushion the attack and landed steadily on the ground. Is the defense of the 4th grade Green Worm Lord so strong? You know, now a sickle from me can make a gap in the ancient tree. But I can't break the defense of the Green Worm Lord. After the Green Worm Lord who survived the disaster reacted, he immediately became arrogant. Ha ha ha, rubbish, it's like tickling, very comfortable. Come on, tickle me again. The Green Worm Lord next to him immediately became bolder. If he couldn't break the defense of Lord J, he naturally couldn't break theirs. Lord J is mighty, and the little mantis is just a clown. Ha ha ha, the little mantis jumping around, I will tear your legs off in a moment. After a brief hesitation, Lu Qing raised his knife without hesitation. This time he activated the skill of violent swing. The red sickle instantly became a little redder. This time the attack was still on the head that had not been broken before. The Green Worm Lord did not notice anything unusual at all, and even stretched his head to wait for the tickling. The next moment, the fist-like head and the whole body were cut in half by a knife. Lu Qing was delighted. The power of the evolved skill was so great that it could split the defensive Green Worm Lord in two. The 3 Green Worm Lords next to him were stunned. Huh, wasn't it still not broken just now? How come Lord J turned into Gigi in the blink of an eye? Lu Qing chopped at the 2nd Green Worm Lord without stopping. The red sickle swung out an afterimage, and directly chopped the other Green Worm Lord who didn't react into two. The green worm has strong vitality, and the leading part is still in the cricket pupa. Where's the butt? I can't feel my butt. Lu Qing ignored it and locked his eyes on the other one. The other 2 reacted instantly and rushed to spray silk at Lu Qing. After getting close, it was his home court. Lu Qing, who was well prepared, dodged easily, and then swung the sickle past. This attack was very accurate, and after one knife, the head and body were separated. The last one didn't escape the fate of being slaughtered. The remaining little caterpillars were still staring at this incredible scene in a daze. In their eyes, the Lord is the most powerful existence in the world. 4 lords, that is, the 4 most powerful, even the King of Heaven can't do anything. The result, they were stabbed one by the mantis, and their death was miserable. The lords were all dead, how could they still have the mind to resist? They were slow to react and instinctively wanted to escape, but the speed of their natural race made it impossible for them to escape. Lu Qing waved his sickle easily, and in a moment, the ground was full of caterpillar corpses. Da Zhuang was stunned. Originally, it planned to run away. After all, the caterpillars were difficult enough, not to mention the 4 caterpillar lords. When it saw Qing Yi's escape, at the beginning, it was ready to follow the other party to escape. Unexpectedly, it was a surprise attack. Its limited intelligence did not realize that Qing Yi's pretending to escape just now was to play to its strengths and avoid its weaknesses, waiting for an opportunity to get close. Qing Yi easily slaughtered the tough Green Worm Lord. That was the Green Worm Lord. Although it was a weaker existence among the lords, it was still a lord. Qing Yi killed 4 of them so easily. So shocking. So powerful. Da Zhuang spread his wings and slid down from a height. Powerful, too powerful, brother, you are so powerful, the 4 Green Worm Lords are not your opponents. Lu Qing waved his sickle foot generously, not bad. Here are hundreds of green worms, eat them freely. Da Zhuang rubbed his sickle, do you want to offer some to our lord? Seeing the Green Worm Lord will definitely please him. It made Lu Qing laugh with just one sentence. Sure enough, it is still an insect, and the desire for the female mantis is engraved in its bones. What's the point of trying to please someone? You have no ambition at all, and you only think about passing on your family line all day long. Eat if you want to, but forget about sending the mother mantis. Lu Qing was too lazy to persuade it, and started to eat experience directly. Maybe after his rank was upgraded, the blood and flesh value obtained by eating those ordinary green worms decreased. Often, eating 3 whole green worms will increase the blood and flesh value by 0.1. Hundreds of green worms only provide a dozen points of blood and flesh value. Lu Qing set his sights on the Green Worm Lord. Just one bite. Get blood and flesh value plus 0.2 feet. It actually doubled. It seems that the blood and flesh value can only be higher if you devour the same level. If it is a higher level, the blood and flesh value obtained will be higher. 4 Green Worm Lords, at least you can advance once. Get blood and flesh value plus 0.2 feet. Da Zhuang had just eaten half a green worm, and when he looked up, he found that there were no green worm corpses in the entire area. If it weren't for the green stains on the ground, it would have thought it was all just a dazzle. Hundreds of ordinary green worms, and 4 40-centimeter long green worm lords, all gone. They ate too fast. Da Zhuang's eyes shifted to Lu Qing. It swallowed the meat in its mouth fiercely, with admiration in its eyes. Now Qing Yi stood in front of it, really like a mountain. Qing Yi, you seem to have grown up again. Indeed. Advanced, a little bigger. Race, Black Blade Mantis. Level, low level 5th grade, 7.6 150. Skills, Fatal Strike, evolvable. Flap wings and fly, evolvable. Now the body size has skyrocketed to about half a meter. The sickle foot shines with a black metallic luster, and the original green wings have become darker and thicker, with good defense. Da Zhuang, who is still a few centimeters long, is envious of this. If only I could grow up as fast as you. Then I would definitely be favored by the Lord, just thinking about it makes me happy. Too deeply poisoned. Lu Qing snorted coldly, your mind is full of the Lord's favor, I think you will be eaten sooner or later. Eat it if you want a happy night, and a large number of descendants, that is the greatest destiny. Greatness. The iron-beaked bird led 2 slightly smaller peers in a hurry, and the destination was the dense forest they had been to once. The dense forest ahead is an excellent place to forage, there is no danger, and it is full of green worms and mantises with low combat effectiveness. Enough for us to have a full meal for a few days. You didn't forget about us when you have such a good place. Tu is really a particular bird. When Tu dived, he responded, of course, I always share the happiness. The 3 iron-beaked birds quickly reached the sky above the dense forest. This is it. The green worms and mantises are here, everyone can hunt and eat. After saying that, he rushed down first. The other 2 birds also landed at the same time. In order to facilitate eating and drinking, they separated. Tizi ran straight to the ancient tree with ease. It likes to eat mantises, and it is crispy when it takes a bite. The mantis I saw last time ran away by luck, and this time it came quietly, let's see how you run. Lu Qing stood in the shade of the tree with boredom. After reaching the 5th level, ordinary green worms can no longer provide blood and flesh value for himself. If you want to advance, you must eat a higher level green worm lord, or find other things to eat. There are only 4 green worm lords in the whole area, and they have been eaten by me. That is to say, if I want to continue to increase my experience, I should change the menu. At this time, Da Zhuang was full and contented, lying on the other side of the tree, and he didn't notice that 2 iron beaks were approaching him. After the 2 iron beaks landed, they couldn't help but feel happy about their good luck. Tai Yu really didn't lie to them. As soon as they landed, they encountered a crisp and delicious mantis. And it was an unsuspecting mantis. This time, I can finally taste it. They approached quietly, and when the distance was right, one of them couldn't wait to stretch out its claws and press the mantis to the ground. Haha, I got it. Awesome, the hunting skills are really good, and it succeeded as soon as I made a move. Da Zhuang was scared to death. He fell into the claws of the iron-beak bird when he opened his eyes after a nap. It's over. It's over. This time, he will definitely be eaten. Da Zhuang could face the female mantis without fear of death, but being caught by a bird made him burst out with the instinct of survival, and he begged for mercy, 2 bird masters, I am not delicious, let me go. Ha ha ha, let you go. Then wouldn't we be stupid birds? Da Zhuang brought out the last weight, I have a brother, he is very powerful, if you don't let me go, you will be in big trouble. The iron-beak bird asked coldly, then what species is your brother? It is also a mantis. The 2 birds burst into laughter. I am dying of laughter. It is also a mantis, ha ha ha, quickly let your brother come over, it's just right for us to have 1 bird each. Da Zhuang didn't understand why they laughed so happily, and said foolishly, I am telling the truth, my brother is really very powerful. The 2 birds laughed even more wildly. At this moment, a voice came into their consciousness. Let it go. Da Zhuang immediately felt saved. My brother is here, you guys run. Run. If we run when we see a mantis, are we worthy of being iron-beak birds? Don't say you are a brother, Even if there are 100 mantises, that's our appetizer. One of the iron-beak birds turned around while sneer, ready to take down the mantis that was delivered to the door in an instant. However, when it turned around, it saw a huge black sickle in front of it, shining with a luster that frightened the bird. Looking up, behind the black sickle was a huge triangular head, and the sharp mouthparts looked like a set of guillotines. What is this thing? It is so majestic and tall, more than twice as big as this iron-beak bird. Why does it look like a mantis? Qing Yi, you came just in time, save me. The two iron-beak birds trembled and looked at each other at the same time. Is this the brother of the little mantis? Is this giant really a mantis? Oh my god! Lu Qing swung his black sickle horizontally. Let it go. Under the strong pressure, the claws of the iron-beak bird shrank involuntarily, and Da Zhuang regained his freedom in an instant. The iron-beak bird, which had reacted, wanted to capture Da Zhuang again. However, Lu Qing did not give it this opportunity. The black sickle was like a black lightning, slashing directly at the bird's claws. These two iron-beak birds were only of the 4th rank. Facing Lu Qing's sudden attack, they did not even have time to react, and one of them had its legs clamped. The bones of the iron-beak bird were hard enough that even Lu Qing, who was of the 5th rank, could not cut its leg bones. But this did not affect him from eating the other party. How much blood and flesh value can birds provide for him? After clamping the other party, Lu Qing opened his mouth without hesitation and bit the struggling bird's neck. The other iron-beak bird was stunned. Eating it raw. Isn't it natural for birds to eat insects? Why is the situation completely reversed now? Baiwei, save me, save me. The mouth looks like a guillotine, I can't stand this thing. Baiwei flapped its wings and took off without hesitation. After taking off, it turned its head and took a look. Its companion had been bitten off the neck by the mantis. How cruel. Tiu said that you can eat and drink here. It's better to be eaten by others. Baiwei is still very particular. He didn't escape at the first time but looked for Tiu. Tizi, Tizi. Tiu heard the conscious call of his companion and immediately made a bird cry. Baiwei immediately landed on the tree branch and communicated anxiously. Tizi, hurry, run. Tiu shook his beautiful feathers. Why run? Such a good place, you have to eat your fill first. Eat your fill, it's better to be eaten by others. Baiwei was immediately anxious. Don't eat your fill, there is a very terrifying existence here. Hearing the existence of terror, Tiu couldn't help but be serious. What kind of terrifying existence? Mantis. Tiu's original tension was relieved instantly, and he laughed immediately. Ha ha ha, mantis can be terrifying. I eat a few every day, and I have never seen how terrifying it is. Are you still asleep? Baiwei said anxiously. Really? It was halfway through the exchange of glances when it suddenly became extremely frightened, shrinking its body and taking a few steps back. Mantis, Mantis, is chasing me. Look at how you look like you have never seen the world. Tiu despised his companions very much. Being scared like this by a mere mantis. How can you be a bird? It's really shameful to be with birds. Tiu turned his head and prepared to show off in front of his peers. However, when he turned his head, a huge shadow had already covered it. What the hell is this? Looking closely, it is clearly a. Tiu trembled. Is this a mantis? And this mantis looks a bit familiar. Each tribe has a powerful existence. It can grow so big, even bigger than this iron-beaked bird. It must be the mantis lord. What bad luck, I actually ran into the mantis lord. Single quote. It is also at level 5, but the strength is different at the same level. The most powerful attack method of the iron-beaked bird is to dive from a high place and use the iron beak to kill with one blow, mainly a sneak attack. And the mantis is good at close-range attack. In this situation, Tiu knew that he was no match. Sorry, we didn't know this was your territory. We will retreat now. Lu Qing looked down at the well-behaved iron-beaked bird in front of him. Why, don't you recognize it? Do we recognize it? You birds don't have a good memory. Here's a hint. 3 days ago, 2 mantises were blocked in the tree hole. Tiu suddenly remembered. 3 days ago, it first discovered this good place for self-service and encountered 2 mantises. However, these 2 mantises slipped away very quickly. Why did this mantis ask this? Is that true? Are there any of your people among them? I'm so sorry for disturbing your precious land. It thought the two mantises were just the Lord's people, but it didn't know that the one in front of it was one of the ones it blocked. Ha ha ha, I'm wrong. I'm not the Lord, but one of the people you blocked in the tree hole. What? Tiyu was stunned. How is it possible? The two that were stuck in the tree hole were the size of ordinary mantises. The one in front of me is a few sizes bigger than me. It's impossible. You are kidding. Who has time to joke with you? While the other party was still short-circuiting his brain, Lu Qing boldly drew his knife. The black sickle went straight to the neck of the iron-beak bird. In order to achieve the effect of a one-hit kill, he also used the skill, Fatal Strike. Tiyu, who is also at the 5th level, reacted very quickly. After sensing the danger, he flapped his wings and moved sideways. Then he was going to fly away from here. How could Lu Qing give it a chance? You can fly, but I can't. If it was a long-distance flight competition, he was certainly no match for the birds. But in the short distance, with the burst blessing of the wing flapping and rapid flight skill, it was not difficult to catch up with the iron-beak bird. Tiyu couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief after flying quickly into the air. As long as he could distance himself, he would have the initiative in his hands, and the mere mantis would not be able to do anything to him. He just breathed a sigh of relief when he felt his claws being pulled. He lowered his head, and his soul flew away. The big mantis actually pulled him. Tiyu was terrified and wanted to drag the other mantis to continue flying high, hoping to get rid of it. However, it was futile for it to continue flying high with a body larger than it. Just as he was descending involuntarily, something even more deadly came. Another sickle leg directly hugged its tail feathers. The sharp guillotine mouth was already biting towards his thigh. Tiyu was completely panicked. No, brother, you are eating me in the air. How many days have you been hungry? Misunderstanding, keep the bird under your mouth. The next moment, there was a piercing pain in his leg. It really bit. The bird's cry instantly changed, and it could no longer maintain its balance and fell headfirst. Get flesh and blood value plus 0.3 feet. Sure enough, it was a bird of the same level. The flesh and blood value was really a lot. He didn't just focus on eating. At the moment of landing, he used flap wings and fly fast, again, quickly adjusted his position, let the ironbeak bird fall hard to the ground, and pressed on the other side. Iron Feather, which served as a meat pad, was knocked unconscious by the fall, and the increased pain in his legs made him sober instantly. No, he didn't let go even after landing. Tiyu twisted his neck and looked at his painful thigh. It was found that the thigh was already dripping with blood, and the mantis was chewing it with its mouthparts. I'm scared. My ironbeak bird family is huge, and I am the son of a lord. If you really dare to kill me, ironbeak bird will take crazy revenge. You let me go, and I promise never to hold any grudge from now on. Otherwise, if you ask for conditions, I can agree to any conditions. Lu Qing's endless begging for mercy made Lu Qing very upset. Ink stains. Do you even have a family in another world? Also, any species can communicate consciously, no matter how outrageous it is considered normal. However, he doesn't like this. The sickle foot grabbed the bird's beak and neck and bit it down. Don't. The consciousness of communication was momentarily weak, but within a few seconds, there was no response. Flesh value plus 0.3 feet. Flesh value plus 0.3 feet. The whole bird provides itself with 60 experience points. The other one only has 4 grades and only provides 15 points. There are still 4 birds left to upgrade and evolve. Lu Qing was satisfied. The only regret was that when he was chasing the 5th grade iron-beaked bird, another 4th grade bird ran away. Dazhuang hid behind the big tree in fear. Stop hiding and come out. After hearing Qing Yi's call, Dazhuang bravely walked out. Driven away. Run away. You look down on your brother too much. Lu Qing threw a piece of minced meat to it. Come and taste this. Dazhuang had never seen red meat before, so he turned over and stared at it. What's this? Bird meat. Ah, it has always been the bird that eats the mantis, but today, it's the opposite of Tiangong. Dazhuang threw the bird meat on the ground. I won't eat it, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Don't you want to be favored by the female praying mantis? Bird meat is a great supplement. If you eat it, it will make you taller and more powerful, making the female praying mantis unable to walk. One sentence touched the heart of Da Zhuang. In order to realize a one-night dream, it dares to go through mountains of swords and seas of fire. Today I turned against Tiangong. Da Zhuang picked up the bird meat and took a big bite. It smells so good. Daytime. Thanks to the help of a kind-hearted brother, Da Zhuang slept well after eating the bird meat. After waking up, my body had grown a lot, reaching about 20 centimeters. It seems that the meat in this world contains energy, and it can grow and advance after being swallowed and absorbed. It's just that their advancement speed is relatively slow, not as outrageous as my own. Da Zhuang was ecstatic. Haha, my body has also grown a lot. I feel like my body is full of power. It feels so good. Now that the Lord has seen me, why don't you drool? It's got to be drooling. Da Zhuang's thoughts are all about carrying on the family line. Brother Qingyi, thank you. If it weren't for your guidance and gifts, I wouldn't be as majestic as I am now. You are such a good mantis. I will be grateful to you forever. Hearing Da Zhuang's grateful words, Lu Qing nodded slightly. Not bad, you still know to thank me and know that I am a good mantis. Da Zhuang, the sun is shining brightly today and the temperature is suitable. It's a good time to bask in the sun. Da Zhuang didn't know why he suddenly said this. Lu Qing pointed at the boulder not far away with his sickle foot. There are no trees around that stone, and the top is flat. It's a good place to bask in the sun. You are so fat and strong, why don't you hurry up and get to work? Da Zhuang faced the boulder honestly, but he also asked doubtfully, baking in the sun is just about sunbathing, how come it has become work? This is fishing. Lu Qing stopped explaining and hid in the shadow under the boulder. I know about fishing. There is a kind of goldworm with a long beard on its head, and a piece of meat on the long beard. I heard that it is called bait. Brother Qingyi, shouldn't we go to the river for fishing? There is nothing on the rocks. Water, what about bait? Can't you catch a ball without bait? Not sensing Lu Qing's response, Da Zhuang lay down on the stone with his belly facing the sky. Qingyi is really stupid and pretending to be aloof. There is no water here, no bait, and we don't even have long beards. How can we fish? Single quote. Forget it, we can't be as stupid as Brother Qingyi. Single quote. Now that I have grown so strong, the Lord will definitely favor me when he sees it. Single quote. No, Brother Qingyi is taller and more powerful, so he should be attracted to him. Single quote. Just when it was thinking in a daze, it suddenly smelled a dangerous smell. Looking closely, high in the sky, there is a yellow bird swooping down. Needless to say, the appointment came for me. Da Zhuang's stomach shrank in fear and he wanted to turn over and run away. But it was too late. The sharp bird claws went straight towards the big belly. It's over, it's over. Dead. Single quote. Just when the claws were about to catch the bird, a sickle foot suddenly struck across the air and clamped down on the bird's neck. Da Zhuang looked at the swirling feathers messily. Xingyi saved herself. It turned over and looked around. Qingyi had broken the bird's neck. Race. Golden threaded bird. Strength. Low level 3rd grade. The strength is a bit low, but it is still an experience package. Lu Qing took 3 big mouthfuls before he got the hint. Get flesh and blood value plus 0.1 feet. This whole bird would be nice if it could give you 5 experience points. Da Zhuang suddenly became enlightened as he watched Qingyi prepare the meal skillfully. When you talk about fishing, you don't mean to use me as bait, right? Yes, Lu Qing admitted directly. Da Zhuang suddenly became angry. Okay, I treat you as my big brother, and you treat me as bait to catch birds. Do you really think I'm a fool? Just as it was angry, a bird leg was thrown in front of it with a click. Eat. Da Zhuang was stunned. What do you think I am? I'll give you these wings too. There's nothing a bird's legs can't fix, and if so, add a wing. Da Zhuang suddenly became happy. Be particular. I have to say that bird meat is fragrant, far more delicious than caterpillars. It is also involved in the fruits of this labor, and it naturally tastes very delicious. It has grown so big that 1 leg and 1 wing are really not enough for it. After Da Zhuang finished eating, he twisted his belly and climbed up the stone skillfully. He lay down flat with his big belly facing the sky. Brother, do you think my posture is standard? This is a sweet taste. Lu Qing laughed and scolded. Standard, too standard. I have the urge to hit your belly. The plump mantis, which is more than 20 centimeters tall, has its belly open and looks like it is eating casually. What kind of bird can withstand this temptation? If you can't stand it anymore, you will swoop down to enjoy the food, but when you get down, you will directly become the delicacy of the mantis. Throughout the day, the two large shady walls caught 4 birds. It's a pity that the level of these birds is a bit low, and Lu Qing is not allowed to upgrade. Da Zhuang has completely tasted the sweetness. Every time he lies on the stone and makes poses to seduce the passing birds in the sky. After several days of this, with the nourishment of bird meat, Da Zhuang was promoted again, reaching the 3rd level. The Lord Mantis is a female mantis named Color Wing. Its territory covers approximately 4 parts. Jungle areas are just one of them. Within a territory, there may be multiple lords of different species, but only one of the same species. The mantis race can only be regarded as a third-rate force in this territory, belonging to the middle and lower end of the food chain. It's midsummer now, and it's time to lay eggs and reproduce, so Kai sent out 4 female mantises to find the strongest male mantises to play games with. Beautiful Wings is one of them. Mei Kai was very careful in finding a one-night stand for herself while carrying out the Lord's mission. This year's male mantises are so weak. I have been looking for 3 days, but I can't find a decent one. Single quote. Don't say that the Lord doesn't like these things. I don't like them either. Single quote. While she was complaining about the male trash, she suddenly felt a different pheromone. This pheromone is unique to male mantises and can only be felt by females. The strong pheromone made Mei Kai very happy. It seemed that there was a very strong male. She quickly turned around and flew towards the depths of the dense forest. When she landed on the branch, she saw a very fat mantis, which was basking in the sun with its belly exposed. The size of this mantis reached 30 centimeters. It was obvious that its strength had reached the 3rd grade. A 3rd grade male mantis. You know, mantises are always weak in males and strong in females. Generally, 2nd grade males are very rare, but now a 3rd grade one has been found. Mei Kai drooled on the spot. If it hadn't kept in mind the Lord's mission, it would have rushed towards the male's belly. Who can resist this thing? Just as it was salivating, a sudden change occurred. A low-level 4th grade arrow bird found the big belly on the stone and immediately launched an attack. Such a big belly is not only fatally attractive to female mantises, but also attractive to predators. Mei Kai found this and immediately panicked. It was so hard to find a strong male mantis, but it was about to be preyed on by the arrow bird without even communicating. Mei Kai wanted to rescue it, but the problem was that it was only a 3rd grade one. Facing the 4th grade arrow bird known for its speed, it couldn't help at all. Unlucky, so unlucky. Such a strong male is going to be eaten by a bird. Alas! Just as it was helpless, there was another change. Arrow birds are known for their speed, and the power and accuracy of high-altitude dives are very high. Let alone a 3rd grade mantis, even a 4th grade one, facing the lightning attack of the arrow sparrow, would only end up being eaten. Unless there is a 5th grade giant. Lu Qing, who has already mastered the hunting skills, easily grabbed the arrow sparrow like picking peaches. Then he broke its neck skillfully. Da Zhuang turned his belly and climbed down skillfully. Haha, I actually caught a 4th grade arrow sparrow. In the past few days, Da Zhuang, who was short of brains, has been able to distinguish the grade and strength. Mei Kai was completely stunned. No, in that situation just now, shouldn't the mantis be the prey? How come the arrow sparrow became the prey in the blink of an eye? Isn't it the opposite of Tian Gang? And its eyes fell on Lu Qing. The 4 secondary legs tightened immediately. What a big male mantis. This time, it not only drooled, but also, judging from this size, it should have reached the 5th grade, right? A 5th grade male. Mikey quickly adjusted her state. The 5th grade one was naturally for the Lord, and as for the 3rd grade one, of course it was a reward for herself. Mikey spread her wings and slid down from the treetop. Such a powerful male appeared in the territory, but I didn't know. It landed next to a stone. Da Zhuang turned his head with a mouthful of bird meat in his mouth, and then was stunned for a moment. From childhood to adulthood, this was the first time he saw a female. The instincts and genes in his body instantly became agitated. The beautiful wings of the female seemed to hide the magic that made him obsessed. The bird meat in his mouth fell to the ground. Lord, Lord. It thought this was the Lord. Mikey chuckled. I am not the Lord, but Mikey, one of the 4 great swordsmen under my seat. I wonder what you two call me. My name is Dazhuang. Lu Qing lifted it aside with a wing. Have you never seen a female? A mere female mantis, you can't even express yourself after seeing it. I have taught you in vain during this period. Just now, Lu Qing also had an instinctive restlessness, but he was forced to suppress it. Mei Kai, what can I do for you? It's like this, now that summer is coming to an end, it's the annual breeding season again. It's just straightforward, but Lu Qing doesn't like it. We are not interested, let's find another mantis. Dazhuang just stood up and wanted to express his yearning for females, but was beaten away by Lu Qing's wings. Mei Kai was stunned. Not interested. What is the meaning of male existence? It's just for this annual happy meeting. How could a mantis refuse? Mei Qi's voice was a little cold. You two are the strongest males in the territory. You will be favored by the Lord and you should feel honored, and it. Its sickle foot pointed at Dazhuang, who fell to the ground. I suffered a little loss, so I chose it. You can cheer. After expressing it, Mei Kai opened her sickle foot and wings, showing her beautiful figure. Lu Qing knew it very well. The happy meeting will only last for a few seconds, and then I will be eaten by you. Why should I cheer? I will cheer for nothing. Isn't what I said clear enough? Neither of us is interested. Mei Qi's mind was full of question marks. Still not interested. I am a famous beautiful mantis. No, are you blind? It was anxious. Don't you see my figure? Isn't it attractive? I can tell you that the Lord's figure is even better than mine. Lu Qing was too lazy to argue with it anymore. It's so tempting. If you keep moaning and groaning, I might be able to eat you. It's the other way around. It's the other way around. The male is going to eat the female. If a male mantis dared to speak to him like this, Mei would definitely take action without hesitation and force himself. But the one opposite her was twice as big as her. If you really do it, the one who gets eaten will definitely be you. Unless secreted. It's not time, it's not time. Mei Kai was scared. I will tell the Lord about this matter. It's not what you want then. It's still chirping. Does it think Lu Qing's words are a joke? Are you determined to eat me? Definitely not used to it. The black sickle rounded the wings and headed straight for Mei. Aren't the wings beautiful? Not showing off your figure. Let you keep showing off from now on. Its attack was so fast and violent that the wings were clamped by the black sickle feet without even a moment of reaction. Lu Qing exerted a little force, and the sickle foot, which was no different from a guillotine, broke the wings at the roots. This time it's the wings, next time it's the head. Climb for me. The cold voice and broken wings made it realize what the real danger was. Mei Kai didn't even have the courage to get angry, so she just crawled away. I can't even crawl, my wings are all broken. Dazhuang stared blankly at the goddess, crawling away, and it took him a while to come back to his senses. Brother, what a wonderful female praying mantis, how wonderful. Lu Qing gave Dazhuang another wing without hesitation. What a wonderful yarn, the female praying mantis is poison. If you are happy for a few seconds, you will lose your life. If I weren't interested in eating the same kind of people, I would have screwed my head off. Lu Qing spoke the truth. The beautiful girl, in the eyes of a praying mantis, is still a praying mantis in his eyes. If it weren't for the mental disorder of cannibalism, he would have cut off its head and used it as a jelly bean. Dazhuang turned over with a groan. I don't want to either, but it's really attractive to me. Brother, how did you manage not to be tempted by the female mantis? Simple, keep in mind the belief that life is precious. Life is precious, then I can't be used as bait. Don't even think about it, get on the rock and lie down. Beautiful wings have become wingless. Without its wings, its strength is impaired. It needs to be careful in the jungle to avoid being targeted by predators. It was lucky, and it took 2 days to crawl back to its nest. Lord, Lord, the sad cry of consciousness, coupled with the staggering crawling, made it look very miserable. Lord Color Wings has a pair of beautiful 3-color wings. Because the female is naturally stronger, although it is only in the 6th grade, its size reaches an extremely exaggerated 1 meter. The most iconic sickle foot has a metallic luster, and 2 beautiful tentacles grow on the triangular head. It looks mighty and domineering, more majestic than the male. Why are you like this? But you have encountered a strong enemy. Within the territory, there are countless predators, and many species are inherently more powerful than the mantis. Even its generals are at risk of being preyed upon. It also thought that Mei Kai had encountered a strong enemy. Unexpectedly, Mei Qi's legs went limp and she lay on the ground. Lord, I was attacked by a male of my own species. Please, Lord, make the decision for me. What? Kai was extremely surprised. The wings were flapping and he was already approaching. You also have third-level strength. How can a weak male hurt you? Let me explain in detail. Mei cried, I met 2 males in the dense forest, one of the 3rd grade and one of the 5th grade. I wanted to summon them to the lair to complete the breeding plan. Unexpectedly, the 5th grade male was extremely cruel and killed him without saying a word. My wings were cut off. I hid in the jungle for several days and finally managed to save my life. 5th grade. Kai was surprised and happy. Surprisingly, there are many male mantises in the territory, but most of them are weak. In recent years, the strongest males are only 3rd grade, and their taste is average, and they cannot add much strength to themselves. But now a 5th grade male appears in his territory. Fortunately, being a 5th grade male is simply a gift from God to him. The unique mechanism of the praying mantis means that even the strongest male will become obsessed and lose the ability to resist when facing a female. After reproduction is complete, the only fate of the male is to be eaten. And once the female eats the male, she will perfectly possess the strength of the superimposed male. It is precisely because of this unique mechanism that the male is weak and the female is strong. Kai has been in the 6th level for many years, and the main reason why he has been unable to advance further is that he does not dare to provoke a race that is too strong, and it is useless to eat a race that is too weak. But now there is a 5th grade male in the territory. As long as he completes reproduction, eats the opponent, and perfectly strengthens his strength, he can definitely be promoted to the 7th level. After reaching the 7th level, your diet will change, making it possible to be promoted again that was impossible in this life. Kai was a lord after all, so he was not overly excited after the surprise. It's still some time before we can secrete estrogen. Once we wait for the date and we can secrete estrogen, no matter how strong the male is, he will have to hibernate. Besides, it's only a 5th grade man. It's not enough to see in front of me, and he can't make any waves. Indeed, in their race, females are able to defeat males. Not only are their strength lower than that of their lord, but they are also stronger than it. As long as estrogen is secreted, no matter how strong the male is, he will have to submit obediently. You have found 2 strong males. According to the rules, the 3rd grade one is naturally given to you. After eating each other to complete reproduction, you can advance to the 4th grade. At that time, you will transform once and grow wings again. Quote. Mei Kai was immediately happy. Stable. The Lord agreed, and naturally no other female dared to compete with him. After secreting estrogen, he can easily eat the 3rd grade male. When the time comes, he will advance once more, undergo transformation, and grow beautiful wings again. The Lord is wise. In recent days, Lu Qing has been busy working on his own advancement path. With Da Zhuang's perfect cooperation, dozens more birds of various kinds became their food. However, since there are no high-level birds to set eye, the flesh value obtained is relatively small. There are still 5 points left to advance. Under Lu Qing's teachings, and as Da Zhuang himself continued to advance with the nourishment of bird meat, he also gained some wisdom. For example, when seduce birds this time, this guy actually used his big belly to pretend to be a fat insect and kept pupating. Over the past few days, my belly has become more and more big. I'm even tempted by it myself. The mean words made Lu Qing feel helpless on his head. You are enlightened, why are you so mean? Be honest, your message was heard by the birds, who dares to come down? The big and strong cricket pupa worked even harder. Don't worry, my big belly is so alluring, any bird will be hungry to see it. It has to be said that Da Zhuang's self-confidence is not completely unreasonable. At this moment, a passing big bird saw the tempting meal. Even a bird can't stand this thing. It swooped down without hesitation. Da Zhuang secretly rejoiced when he sensed that a bird had taken the bait, but the next second he stopped laughing. This is a 5th grade arrow bird. Originally, the arrow sparrow was a petite bird, but the size of this 5th-grade arrow sparrow reached 40 centimeters, and it was over 1 meter with its wings spread. The excessive size, combined with the extremely fast speed, made Da Zhuang panic instantly. It's a 5th-grade arrow sparrow, it's too big. This learned from Lu Qing is very clever, fully expressing its panic and despair. The arrow sparrow is indeed fast, but Lu Qing, who is well prepared, is not panicked. It sees the right moment and attacks with its sickle foot. However, this 5th-grade arrow sparrow is also very clever. Consciousness communication is just like speaking, and any species within a certain range can hear it. It heard Da Zhuang's shout, and alertly sensed something unusual. When the huge sickle foot appeared behind the stone, it quickly flapped its wings to change direction, narrowly avoided it, and landed on the tree branch. Lu Qing was stunned and thought, this arrow sparrow reacts so quickly. This is the first time that a mistake has been made since he started fishing for birds. The arrow sparrow stood on the branch and fell into a daze as he looked at the piles of bird bones not far away. Obviously, countless birds have been killed by the 2 mantises. Then it flapped its wings and flew high without hesitation. Those 2 mantises are full of bad water. I almost got caught. Single quote. We must inform the tribe that there is a deadly trap here. Single quote. Lu Qing was dumbfounded. For some reason, no bird has taken the bait in the past 2 days. Not to mention taking the bait, it seems that all the birds have agreed not to pass by the dense forest at all. Da Zhuang patted his obviously shriveled stomach. What happened these days? I haven't seen a single bird. My stomach is so empty. Lu Qing spread his wings and flew down from the treetops. I have seen that birds will deliberately avoid this dense forest. Obviously, our bird fishing has been exposed. What should we do? Da Zhuang has become addicted to bird meat. Hearing that the bird fishing has been exposed, he can't help but feel a little frustrated. Lu Qing glanced at the almost full experience bar and said immediately, simple, change the menu. There is nothing we can eat in the dense forest. Da Zhuang, who has reached the low-level 4th grade, has a very good appetite and is even more ambitious. Ordinary green worms and the like are not enough to fill the gaps between your teeth. And low-level species can only fill your stomach after eating. It is normal that there is nothing to eat in a palm-sized jungle. Let's go outside and there will be plenty to eat. Lu Qing has no clear idea of how big this world is. Even if you stand at the highest point in the jungle, all you can see are endless towering trees. There is definitely no shortage of food in such a vast forest. As Da Zhuang's strength grew, his confidence also swelled. He readily agreed. Listen to the boss. 2 big mantises came to the river. The river was turbulent. Boss, that's the golden threadworm. A long gray worm was lying on a stone by the river. There was a long golden line on its head, and at the end of the long line was a meat lump with bone spurs. The golden threadworm put the meat lump into the river, and in a moment the golden line shook. Then the worm pulled back with all its strength and pulled a small fish out of the river. A natural fisherman. This world is really amazing. Lu Qing spread his wings and flew over. The sickle leg was placed directly on the head of the golden threadworm. The golden threadworm, who was about to enjoy the food, was instantly scared to death. Oh my God, what a big mantis. Brother Mantis, are you going to rob the small fish? Here you go. The golden threadworm looked well behaved and cooperative, and it seemed that he had been robbed a lot. The small fish is only of the 1st grade, and eating it is useless. However, this golden threadworm has reached the 2nd grade. As if noticing Lu Qing's eyes, the golden threadworm shrank. My meat is smelly and fishy, far less delicious than fish meat. Stop wasting time, I won't eat you. I ask you, are there any powerful beings around here? The golden threadworm immediately cooperated. You are the most powerful on this side of the river. This is the first time I have seen such a majestic and tall mantis. The most powerful on the other side of the river. Over there, do you see that big mountain? That's not a mountain, but an ant nest. There is a mountain on the other side of the river. Lu Qing really thought it was a mountain before, after all, it was full of weeds. But after a closer look, he also found clues. Under the cover of weeds, you can see that there are many holes on the mountain. What kind of ants actually built a hole outside, and it looks like a mountain? Outrageous. It's even more outrageous. An ant drilled out of the hole. Lu Qing's body trembled. The armor of this ant is black and shiny, and its mouthparts are as sharp as a knife. What's more exaggerated is that its body size is as large as 50 centimeters. It seems to have reached the 5th grade. The golden threadworm explained, "That's just a very ordinary worker ant." Very ordinary. Ants live in groups. Looking at the scale of the mountain, it is estimated that the number of worker ants will not be less than hundreds. One is so strong, hundreds of them. No wonder there are no other groups living on the opposite side. Who would live next to such a powerful ant? Lu Qing let go of the golden threadworm. As soon as it regained its freedom, it turned around and ran away, not even wanting the fish. Da Zhuang, who rushed over, picked up the small fish, cut it off and put it into his mouth. "Boss, what are you looking at?" "Ant. What's so good about ants?" The next moment it saw an ant with an exaggerated body. "Is this an ant?" This word was used by it to its essence. Lu Qing checked the worker ant that crawled to the stream. Race: giant ant, worker ant. Strength: low-level 5th grade. It is indeed low-level 5th grade. Giant ant, 5th grade strength. Da Zhuang was instantly scared when he heard it. "It is stronger than me. Fortunately we didn't go over there." Before he finished speaking, he saw his boss flapping his wings and flying over. "No, you are crazy. An ant is already so strong. If a group of ants rush out, who can resist? I will go over to check." After transmitting the message to Da Zhuang, Lu Qing had already landed steadily on the other side of the river. A consciousness came into his mind. Food, food. The source was the ant that crawled out of the cave. Obviously, this ant received an order, so it would repeat the order and complete the task. The worker ant climbed up the thick old tree next to it. There were 2 soldier ants guarding the tree. The mouthparts of the soldier ants were more exaggerated and terrifying, and the armor on their bodies was thicker. After a while, this worker ant came down with a fleshworm. This kind of fleshworm is very fat, like a meatball, with very limited mobility and no attack ability. Lu Qing checked the rank of the flesh worm. Race: flesh worm, herding. Strength: none, low-level 3rd grade. It is actually herding, and it can even herd 3rd grade flesh worms. The ant race is interesting. Lu Qing decided to go to the tree to see how many flesh worms there are. The flesh worms are guarded by soldier ants, and it is really troublesome to get around them silently. Not to mention 2 5th grade soldier ants. Even if there is only one, Lu Qing will probably not get any benefit from a head-on confrontation. This thing is very powerful, with extremely sharp mouthparts. It can attack and defend, and it can also wave people by radio. As for weaknesses, if the ants in this world are the same as the ants in his previous world, their antennae are their weaknesses. Ants have no vision, and they rely on antennae to identify directions, find food, and even communicate. Of course, if the ants in this world were different, then I really couldn't afford to offend them. At most, I could just flap my wings and escape. After making up his mind, Lu Qing lay dormant, waiting for the opportunity to strike. Patrol, patrol. The instructions of the 2 soldier ants were repeated in his mind, making Lu Qing a little annoyed. Fortunately, it didn't last too long, and he waited for the opportunity. One of the soldier ants patrolled to the root of the tree. Lu Qing was hiding in the grass 5 meters away, and this distance was definitely a good distance for exerting force. He used the skill, flap wings and fly, without hesitation. With the blessing of the skill, he ran straight to the ant at a very fast speed. When the distance was right, the sicklefoot attacked swiftly. This time, the skill, Fatal Strike, was still used to pursue a sure hit. The ant's reaction was somewhat slow. It only uttered one word, enemy. The sicklefoot accurately passed over the top of the head and cut off the 2 antennae. The transmitted alert consciousness was suddenly interrupted. The ant instantly became a headless fly, spinning wildly in place, and fell to the ground the next moment, and then rushed around everywhere. It worked. The antennae are indeed a weakness. Lu Qing instantly gained confidence. He crawled along the tree trunk to another soldier ant. After doing the same, the other soldier ant also lost its antennae that sensed everything and fell to the ground. Lu Qing glanced at the 2 ants spinning around on the ground. Although these 2 ants have lost their antennae that can sense everything, their destructive power has not been weakened. A small tree as thick as a bowl was actually bitten off by one of the ants. Lu Qing was terrified. Even with his skills, he couldn't cut off the small tree with one knife, but such an ordinary soldier ant could do it. If he hadn't discovered the weakness, I'm afraid he would have been bitten off by a bite. Lu Qing no longer cared about the two soldier ants, but climbed up the tree trunk and found the fleshworm. There was a fleshworm on each ancient leaf, slowly eating the leaves. This kind of fleshworm has slow movement ability and almost no attack power. It seems that it can't do anything except eating leaves. Even so, there is a third grade. It seems that the giant ant is very good at raising animals. But now, it's a bargain for Lu Qing. He caught a fleshworm directly. After eating a whole one, the blood and flesh value increased by 0.1. The blood and flesh value is a little less, but the quantity is large. There must be hundreds of flesh worms on this ancient tree. If you eat them all, you can get dozens of points. And the several ancient trees next to it are also breeding grounds for ants, which can definitely make your experience soar. Of course, Lu Qing would not forget his good brother for such a good thing. He flew across the river and kicked Da Zhuang, who was dozing off. Don't sleep, there are good things on the other side, come on, follow me. Da Zhuang was instantly alert when he heard that there was something good. Seeing that the whole tree was covered with meat worms, Da Zhuang danced with excitement. I told you, follow me and you will have meat to eat. Be quiet, ants are very sensitive, from now on don't make any movement, just eat. Lu Qing grabbed one and started eating. Da Zhuang had also started eating. Lu Qing would not be full, so he ate very quickly. And Da Zhuang had a huge appetite after being hungry for 2 days. By the evening, the meat worms on an ancient tree had been eaten up. Da Zhuang lay contentedly on the treetop. Lu Qing finally reached the advanced stage. The energy has been accumulated, do you want to advance? Advance. All the accumulated energy began to gently wash the body, which was very comfortable. After a few seconds, the advancement was completed. Race: Ink Blade Mantis. Level: Low level 6th grade 0.1300. Skill: Strengthened Slashing and Stabbing evolvable. Skill: Spread Wings and Fly evolvable. The body size soared again to 60 centimeters. The sickle legs were also strengthened again. The two sickle legs have become ink black, with denser serrations. At a glance, they look like black blades. The thorns at the tip are more raised and sharper. It can really be chopped and stabbed. This tree has been eaten clean, change to another tree. Still eating, I really can't eat anymore. Da Zhuang has no ability to store energy. After eating for an afternoon, he has already eaten to his throat. Lu Qing thought for a while, then you go back to the jungle first, I'll eat for another night. Da Zhuang has long been accustomed to his boss's appetite, and immediately spread his wings and flew away. Lu Qing is now stronger, faster, more accurate, and easier to deal with soldier ants. After dealing with the soldier ants, he started to gain experience again. After the advancement, the blood and flesh value provided by the third grade flesh worms was weakened again. Often, eating 3 will provide 0.1 blood and flesh value. Fortunately, the quantity is large, and the flesh worms on this tree can provide more than 10 points. The liver is finished. The worker ant was dumbfounded. It came to get food for the queen to eat. As a result, the breeding ground that was originally densely populated with flesh worms was empty. Food? No. After the message was sent, 3 worker ants rushed over immediately. The flesh worms that were originally full of trees, now there is not a single one. The confused worker ants quickly calmed down and left the ancient tree in an orderly manner. After a while, dozens of soldier ants began to search with shiny armor. When Lu Qing was eating with relish, he noticed something unusual. Looking down, dozens of soldier ants were climbing the tree. They were discovered. Although these soldier ants were 1 grade lower than themselves, it was still extremely difficult to resist them all at once. Of course, they would not fight hard if they could run. Lu Qing spread his wings and flew away without any panic. At this moment, a very clear voice came into his mind. You thief mantis, how dare you steal my ant tribe's food? Ant Queen. This place is hundreds of meters away from the ant nest, but the consciousness can be clearly transmitted. The Ant Queen must be a very powerful existence. Knowing that the other party is very powerful, Lu Qing is not afraid at all. What thief? I robbed it with my ability. The law of the jungle is the survival of the fittest. Of course, you have to be justified. The ant queen was obviously angry. What a good ability. Do you think my ant tribe is weak and can be bullied? Lu Qing originally wanted to escape directly, but now he is not in a hurry. He turned around and landed on another tree. After he solved the soldier ants with a knife, he stuffed a meatworm into his mouth. I bullied you, what can you do? Do you think my mantis Lord Kai is afraid of you? After saying that, he threw another one into his mouth and ate it with relish. The queen ant led nearly 1,000 fifth-grade engineer ants. Any race would avoid them. They had never been so angry before. She gnashed her teeth and sent a message. Are you going to go to war with my ant tribe? The ant tribe is fierce, and very few species are willing to provoke them. Of course, this definitely does not include Lu Qing, who likes to make trouble. He put a worm into his mouth with a knife, like eating snacks, but the communication did not stop. What do you mean by going to war? Do you think a small ant deserves this word? I, the Lord Kai Yi, can drown you with a mouthful of saliva. Eating your worms is to give you face. You are still shouting to go to war. If you really go to war, the Lord will send you to the West with a knife. The queen ant may not understand what the West means, but the meaning of this response is obvious. The mantis tribe does not regard the ant tribe as a toy at all. You ant tribe are just a second-rate race. The queen ant was completely angry. How dare you? If you have the guts, stay where you are. Don't move. If you don't move, you're a turtle. Lu Qing took some work for the Lord, and his goal was achieved. Of course, he would not get too entangled with the ants with amazing fighting power, and immediately flapped his wings and flew high. He didn't forget to talk back while flying. I've eaten and drunk enough today. By the way, your ant tribe's breeding technology is a bit average. This meatworm is a bit dry and not fat enough. Improve your technology in the next few days, and I'll come to taste it again. You took advantage of us and said it tasted bad. You treated us ants as servants. It's really bullying the ants too much. I swear to destroy your mantis clan. Lu Qingfei flew to the other side of the river. Turning around, I saw dozens of soldier ants milling around the river. Ants can't swim, so this river is simply a natural barrier. Just when he was about to leave easily, he heard the flapping of wings. Taking a closer look, 5 flying ants came straight towards this side. Compared with soldier ants, flying ants are longer and the black armor on their bodies looks much thinner, but their mouthparts are not weak at all. It seems that the 5 flying ants should also be at the 5th level. The defense is slightly weak, and Lu Qing is confident of breaking through the defense, but the problem is that there is no point in fighting. After all, he is supported by his respected Lord Kai. The high-quality project that was finally secured for the Lord must of course be 100% dedicated to the Lord's work. Lu Qing flapped his wings and flew away without saying a word. Dazhuang was very full, and the natural enemies in this area were running around and around, making him very safe, so he took one step at a time and returned to the dense forest calmly. Several bugs I met on the road turned around and ran away when they saw this huge monster. This also made Dazhuang even more proud. At this moment, a sound of flapping wings caught its attention. It can identify that this is the sound of the boss flapping its wings. Sure enough, a figure passed by in the next second. Run! The boss's hasty prompt made Dazhuang full of doubts. What the hell? It turned around and saw 5 slower flying ants coming towards it. Flying ants have sharp mouthparts, ferocious faces, and are full of killing intent. Shocked, Dazhuang spread his wings, flew and ran, speeding up to catch up with the boss. Chapter 11. There is a natural cave under the boulder. 2 huge mantises are crowded inside. After 5 flying ants flew by, the sound of flapping wings gradually became inaudible. Dazhuang huddled his body and breathed a sigh of relief. I'm so scared. Boss, have you been discovered? Lu Qing climbed out of the cave and shook off the dust on his wings. Their queen ant noticed it. Dazhuang panicked immediately. These ants are so strong, the queen ant must be an even more terrifying existence. The dense forest is separated from the ants' nest by a river, and they have flying ants. Let's find a place to hide. Lu Qing glanced at it. What a coward. Dazhuang drooped his triangular head. The mouthparts are too scary. If they bite, my head will be moved. The mouthparts and strength of the ants are indeed scary, but Don't be scared, we have backup. Ha, Da Zhuang was stunned. Where is the backup? Lu Qing gave it a hint, Lord Kai is our solid backer. Boss, you are mentally retarded, right? Last time you destroyed the beautiful wings with a beautiful figure. It's a good thing that it doesn't cause us trouble. How can it be our backer? It's too difficult to let a species with a low IQ understand what wisdom is. Lu Qing was too lazy to explain it, and just casually said, the backer doesn't know that it is our backer, but the enemy knows, that's enough. Tonight, rest honestly for a night, and start doing big things tomorrow. Da Zhuang said, as if he understood, and then his eyes lit up. Which beautiful mantis is named Big Things? This guy's mind is full of passing on the family line. They repaired a cave, blocked some tree branches and leaves, and rested quietly for a night. They slept soundly, but the mantises in this large area were miserable. The army of ants has crossed the river and started to retaliate against the mantis clan. What? The powerful ants specifically slaughtered my tribe. Kai Yi was extremely shocked. They are not group living mantises, they all hunt individually. And there are always stronger beings in the jungle, so it is normal to be preyed upon. Ants and mantises are two non-aggression races. But this time, the ants launched a sneak attack on the mantis tribe. Especially now that the breeding season is about to come, the death of each female mantis is an irreversible loss for the entire tribe. Below the anger, there is more confusion. The nest of the powerful ants is across the river. They have never crossed the border for so many years. Why did they suddenly attack my tribe? Just then, a pink mantis rushed in. Lord, it's bad, a large group of soldier ants surrounded us. Kai Yi was immediately angry. They dared to surround my door, they are bullying me too much. As a lord, he has a temper. Kai Yi came outside without saying a word. Sure enough, a group of soldier ants were climbing the tree to attack. After all, Kai Yi is a 6th rank mantis lord, so he is naturally very strong. With a swing of its sickle foot, it has knocked a soldier ant down to the tree. Why did you invade my mantis territory? However, this group of soldier ants are brainless soldiers who can only repeat one sentence, mantis, kill. Mantis, kill. Communication is obviously useless. Kai and a group of female mantises occupy a favorable terrain and begin to face the army of ants. The armor defense of these ants is really strong. Even Kai, a 6th rank lord, only cut a harmless mark on his armor with his sickle foot. They have never fought with ants, so they don't know what the ants' weaknesses are. Even if they occupy a favorable terrain with a high position, they are bitten by ants. The strength and mouthparts of ants are very strong. If they are not killed, they will be disabled. The situation immediately tilted towards the ants. Kai saw his mantis retreating step by step, and he became anxious. The two large sickle legs swung directly at the soldier ants. Its powerful strength was revealed. After a few rounds, a large number of ants fell down, and the situation was deadlocked again. Lord Kai fought bravely and fought fiercely. But two cunning mantises were hiding in the grass not far away and laughing. Boss, your trick is brilliant. It's a pity that so many beautiful females. The back of Lu Qing's sickle leg hit its head. Can't you have something else in your mind? If you focus on passing on the family line, I'll kill you first to save those female mantises from being cheap. Da Zhuang covered his painful head, but they are really coquettish and charming. Lu Qing ignored it, but kept an eye on the battle. The ants and mantises were still fighting fiercely. It seemed that it would be difficult to tell the winner in a short time. After more than a dozen female mantises died, Kai finally found the weakness of the ants. Its attack began to target the antennae of the ants. The situation tilted towards the mantis again. However, the subsequent reinforcements of the ant army had arrived, especially the flying ants, who provided air support and raids. The situation that had just been reversed became tense again. The queen ant actually dispatched so many troops. Lu Qing suddenly had another idea. He pulled Da Zhuang and said, let's go. Where to? Dogs bite dogs, and they are fighting vigorously. Of course, we should go to get some benefits now. What dogs, what fur? Where is the benefit? With so many ants out, the ant nest must be empty. Hey, boss, you are really full of bad water. Stop talking nonsense and follow me. Boss, this way. This is the breeding farm. Da Zhuang hurriedly communicated with Lu Qing and reminded him that he had gone the wrong way. Of course he did not go the wrong way. The few meatworms in the breeding farm were not of much help to him. He just wanted to take advantage of the empty ant nest to see if there were any good things. I'll go into the ant nest, and you can go to the breeding farm to eat meatworms. Ah, Dazhuang was stunned. No, there is a queen ant in there. Boss, are you going to die? In his limited wisdom, he felt that the soldier ants were so powerful, so how powerful must the queen ant who ruled them be? Of course Lu Qing cherished his life very much. However, although the ants in this world are powerful, their basic habits are similar to those in his previous world. The queen ant may not be very strong. You don't understand, just eat the meatworms well. Remember, don't send a message anymore, lest the queen ant notices. Lu Qing turned around and went into the ant nest. The inside of the ant nest is like an extremely complicated maze. There are passages everywhere, but it is impossible to tell where they led. Although Lu Qing can see in the dark, he has completely lost his way after turning for a while. Just when he didn't know what to do, he heard a noise behind him. He quickly hid. 2 worker ants, holding 2 meatworms, crawled into the depths in an orderly manner. Lu Qing hurriedly followed. After turning left and right, the 2 worker ants walked into the cave at the end of the passage. It seems that the destination has been reached. He hid again and waited until the 2 worker ants left before entering the cave. This is a huge cave. There are piles of eggs on the ground. Some fleshworms were placed in a depression, and a few tender white ants were gnawing on them. Is this a hatchery? Lu Qing came behind a few little ants and accidentally stepped on gravel and made some noise. However, these little ants, who had just been born, ignored him and deeply implemented the idea that the greatest thing is to work hard. He was completely relieved and came to the egg with a swagger. This thing is like an egg, but it is more transparent and the eggshell is softer. Race: unhatched ant eggs. Strength: none. Low level 4th grade. Ant eggs are actually 4th grade. How nutritious. There is such a good thing in the ant nest. Of course Lu Qing will not be polite. With a light stroke of the sickle foot, a hole was cut on the eggshell. Then he sucked it in big mouthfuls, and it went into Lu Qing's stomach after a few mouthfuls. Get flesh and blood value plus 0.1 feet. Get flesh and blood value plus 0.1 feet. A whole ant egg provides Lu Qing with 0.3 experience points. It is estimated that there are at least nearly 100 here, which can provide more than 30 points, which is 1/10 of the required advancement. Full of energy, Lu Qing began to fight for advancement. There were indeed fewer patrolling soldier ants in the ant nest, but there were still some. After eating the ant eggs, as soon as he came out of the cave, he met a patrolling soldier ant team head-on. The soldier ants' reconnaissance ability was obviously much stronger than that of the worker ants. Before Lu Qing could hide, they had already sounded the alarm. Enemy invasion! Enemy invasion! Lu Qing raised his knife and accurately cut off the antennae of the leading soldier ant. The alarm had been sounded, and it was estimated that a large number of soldier ants would arrive soon. He did not entangle with the remaining soldier ants, turned around and crawled into the passage on the other side, and then started running wildly. After running dizzy for a while, he turned his head and saw that there were densely packed pursuers behind him. A voice also sounded at this time. Mantis, it's you again. The voice was furious. You destroyed my eggs. I swear to wipe out your Mantis clan. Lu Qing ran and did not forget to retort, I just ate a few of your eggs, why are you angry? Be careful not to get angry and not lay eggs, then it will be a loss. The voice was even more furious, Mantis, shameless thief. You should have a guilty conscience. Morality. I'm a mantis, and you still want to use morality to kidnap me. Yes, my conscience is too uneasy, I'll eat a few more eggs to make up for it later. The queen ant was probably very angry and did not respond. Then the speed of the soldier ants suddenly increased, and they rushed towards Lu Qing desperately. Ants bite elephants to death, and he didn't think he could wipe out these dense ant armies. Seeing that a few fast ones had already arrived in front of him, Lu Qing raised his knife and cut off their antennae. The ants with broken antennae opened their mouthparts and bit, biting a big gap in the cave wall. Lu Qing aimed at the gap and chopped it with a sickle. The falling rubble blocked the hole, and he turned around and continued to run. The rubble only blocked the hole for a few seconds, and then it was broken by the army of ants. And he ran around like a headless fly, and couldn't find a way out at all. If he continued like this, he would be surrounded by these ants sooner or later. Kai was already injured, but he was still very brave. No matter how fierce he was, he would inevitably gradually lose his strength in the face of the huge army of ants. Just when he was about to retreat to the nest, he felt the pressure suddenly reduced. He looked closely and found that these ants began to retreat. It must be that I fought to the death and severely damaged the army of ants. Single quote. Kai was immediately excited. They are scared. Jime, follow me. However, there were very few responders. Turning around, there were seriously injured and dead mantis bodies everywhere. These are the backbone of the territory. Before the breeding season, once these mantises die, the territory's strength will be greatly weakened. We were inexplicably surrounded and attacked by the ants. Now that we have suffered heavy casualties, you ants just want to evacuate. You are bullying the mantises too much. Kai couldn't swallow this breath, and the remaining mantises couldn't swallow this breath either. Chase them, I swear to make the ants pay the price. Kai led the remaining 37 mantises to pursue. They must kill to the ant nest to ask for an explanation. They chased and killed more than a dozen ants along the way. The ant nest is in front. Cross the river and let these little ants see how powerful we are. The mantises were also instantly excited. They were inexplicably surrounded and beaten, and now it's finally time to be proud. They flew across the river waving their sickles. At this time, the ants crossing the river were climbing an extremely tough vine. Kai cut the vine without saying a word. Those half-crossed ants fell into the turbulent river, tumbling in the water and drifting away. Kai, who had let out a little bit of anger, turned around and looked at the ant nest. Suddenly, it was stunned. Something was happening. There was a circle of soldier ants outside the ant nest, and dozens of flying ants were circling and attacking in the air. Obviously, these ants were besieging something. Because of the angle, it couldn't see what they were besieging. But looking at the energy of these ants, it knew that the one they were besieging must be very difficult. No wonder those ants suddenly evacuated. It turned out that something happened in the old nest. This was considered a help to me. Because of curiosity, Kai wanted to see clearly what species these ants were besieging. There is something wrong with the ant nest, let me go and take a look. It spread its wings and flew to an ancient tree. After standing firm, it looked around. After seeing it clearly, it was stunned. In the center, there was a mantis. This mantis was huge, fast and fierce. The dark black sickle was swung tightly. As long as the sickle passed, an ant's antennae would be cut off. What really surprised it was that this was a male mantis. Male mantises are naturally weak, why is this one so strong and outrageous? Lord, several more mantises flew to the top of the tree. When they saw that the one besieged by many ants was actually a male mantis, they all looked extremely shocked. Ah, male mantis, how is it possible? They have personally experienced the strength of the soldier ants. Except for the Lord, in a one-on-one situation, even a 5th grade mantis of the same level would be abused by the ants. If it weren't for the weakness of the antennae, the Lord might not have gotten any benefit. Even for a powerful Lord, it would be extremely difficult to deal with 3 or 2 soldier ants at the same time. But what? The male mantis was able to rush left and right when surrounded, as if it was in an ant-free situation. You know, there are still flying ants in the air looking for opportunities to move. Is this male from our territory? No, there are only some weak people in our territory. It's hard for them to mate one by one, let alone charge so bravely. I heard that there are 2 very powerful mantises in our territory. Not really, one of the other 2 is 3rd grade and the other is 5th grade, but this male is 6th grade, and so powerful. I'm drooling when I see it. Me too, who can stand such a powerful male? I'm itching to death now. Stop being so arrogant. Kai scolded the mantises directly, look at how ignorant you all are. It's just a male. After the scolding, he turned around and continued to observe the battle situation. At this time, a flying ant in the air found an opportunity, opened its exaggerated huge mouthparts, and rushed straight to Lu Qing's back. If it bites, the neck can be separated from the body directly. However, this was a flaw that Lu Qing deliberately exposed. The ant's air force is always a huge threat if it is not eliminated. After the flaw was exposed, the flying ants with low IQ really fell into the trap, and the two flying ants launched an attack without hesitation. However, before they got close, Lu Qing had already used the skill, enhanced slashing and stabbing. Single quote. Two black sickles attacked at the same time. The left knife slashed quickly and accurately. It slashed accurately in the gap of the armor. The powerful force plus the flying ant's lower defense actually cut it into two pieces by Lu Qing's attack. The right knife was a stab, which was also sharp. The tip of the sickle was inserted directly into the mouthparts of the flying ant and came out from the chest cavity. With a swing, a soldier ant was smashed and flew out. Seeing this scene, Kai couldn't help but tighten his forelegs, and the female hormone went straight to his brain. Although the defense of the flying ant is a little weaker than that of the soldier ant, it is still an ant. A sickle split the flying ant in two, and even pierced the other one at the same time. This ability is not even possessed by this lord. The mantis rule that the female is strong and the male is weak seems to be useless at this moment. This is not strong. It is simply outrageously strong. Such a majestic and powerful male mantis, it has never encountered in its life. It can be said that this is its dream mantis. Seeing the dream mantis, it is normal to clamp the forelegs together. What a powerful male. That look is obviously in heat. The mantis next to it was speechless instantly. Good fellow, he just scolded us for being naughty, and then he turned around and started to be naughty himself. Lu Qing had no idea that a group of female mantises were staring at him with greed. The army of ants surrounded him. If he didn't break out in time, he couldn't stand the consumption. He used the same trick again, slightly exposed a flaw, and lured the flying ants to be fooled again. The black sickle hit the vital points accurately, and each time it was killed with one blow. In less than a few minutes, most of the air force had been cut off. After the threat of flying ants in the air was reduced, he flapped his wings and took off directly. After easily harvesting the remaining few flying ants, he flew to the other side of the river at a leisurely pace. Ant Queen, today's activities are very good, and the fight is also very enjoyable. I won't accompany you anymore. Next time, you must let the most powerful ants come to fight, otherwise the battle of cutting melons and vegetables is really boring. By the way, you have to lay more delicious ant eggs as soon as possible, otherwise there will not be enough to eat. After saying that, he seemed to burp with unsatisfied feeling. Shrimp and pig heart. It's so frustrating. They destroyed our breeding farm, killed my offspring, and even ate the unhatched ant eggs. Now they are still talking nonsense. The ant queen went crazy instantly. Mantis, I swear to make you mantis exterminate the species. Lu Qing was still flying slowly. What are you bragging about? How can a small ant make my powerful mantis exterminate the species? What's more, our Lord Kai Yi is the most courageous mantis in the world. To deal with you ants, one knife at a time. He was about to leave, but he didn't forget to draw hatred for the Lord. Lu Qing's figure gradually faded away, but the female mantises on the treetops fell into a stagnation. Of course, they didn't understand the high-end strategy of borrowing a knife to kill a mantis, but they were just surprised that this mantis was actually in their territory. Lord Kai Yi felt something was wrong, but he couldn't figure out what was wrong. But after hearing Lu Qing's flattery, it made him excited instantly. Look, this is telepathy. I like this male, and this male also admires me. This time, the two are in love. Kai, who was thinking about the eggs, directly threw away his hatred for the ants. The world is big, and the most important thing is to pass on the family line. Let's let the ants go for now. Let's go, follow me to complete a greater mission. These mantises certainly understand what the greatest mission is. Dazhuang, who had already eaten and drunk enough, was curled up in the cave and sleeping. He got up immediately after hearing the noise. Boss, are you back? It didn't know what Lu Qing had just encountered. After Lu Qing entered the cave, he immediately asked, how is it? Is there anything good in the ant nest? Yes, ant eggs. That thing is soft, sweet, and nutritious. Each one is a 4th grade, which is a tonic. Dazhuang drooled when he heard the words, and the sickle feet hugged each other. Did you bring it back? Come on, let me have a taste. I couldn't bring it out. The queen ant found out and I was almost beaten to death. At this moment, communication consciousness came from outside the cave. Come out quickly, the Lord is here. The Lord, The female. Da Zhuang's eyes were shining, as if he was in a state of panic. Boss, the Lord, it's the Lord. What are you excited about? The sickle foot slapped, almost breaking Da Zhuang's triangular head into a square. This also made Da Zhuang sober up a lot, and he remembered Lu Qing's teachings and brainwashing. Life or women, which one do you choose? If it was before, Da Zhuang would have chosen women gloriously. But now he has fully understood the beauty of life, the taste of bird meat, the free meat worms, and the growing strength. He is full of expectations for his future life. If you don't want to die, restrain your thoughts. Da Zhuang nodded quickly. Restrain, restrain. Lu Qing shook off the dust on his body. Let's go out and meet them. More than a dozen females surrounded the cave. All stared at Lu Qing, who had just walked out. Their eyes were very pure, full of desire for males. The colorful wings, who were the last to show off, waved their three-color wings and slowly fell down. Noble and majestic. After landing, the tall four legs gracefully moved forward a few steps. The wings behind him opened again. Male, I like you, accept the honor and favor from the Lord. After expressing it, he raised his noble triangular head. In its opinion, which male can resist the favor of the Lord? No male can resist it. What is a male? Just a natural tool. It is the cornerstone of the female's strength. Since the birth of the race, there has been no exception. Even if the male in front of him is very powerful, even not weaker than himself. So what? This is fate, an irresistible fate. Theoretically, it is irresistible. I have to say that for a creature who has been single for decades, he still looks charming when he sees the female mantis. If it is just a love affair with a female mantis, he may also consider satisfying his addiction. But this thing is deadly. I see that you are still charming, but you want to kill me. Besides, the ants have tortured you to such a state, and you still have the mind to engage in male-female relationships. It's still not bad enough for you. Not interested. The answer is simple and clear. Kai Yi was stunned for a moment. What? No interest? You are not interested in me? Could it be that the nobility I just showed made him stay away and feel ashamed? It immediately retracted its wings and twisted its fat body. How can I not be interested? We can cultivate it for a while. It clamped, it actually clamped. Lu Qing was speechless for a moment. It's quite a play. What a pity. Don't be so coquettish. It's not that I am not interested in you, but I am not interested in the mantis species. You are not even as attractive to me as a lizard. Da Zhuang secretly said. No wonder the boss has always been unkind to female mantises. It turns out that he likes cross-species. Mighty. So mighty. Majestic. So majestic. Kai Yi was stunned. No, I am not as attractive as other species. A pair of big eyes stared at Lu Qing, as if trying to figure out why this male's thoughts were so weird. The rest of the mantises were looking at each other. What's going on? Mantises don't like mantises, but lizards. That Lord was so noble and coquettish just now, wasn't it all in vain? Lord Kai got mad. Tell me your name. You can even check your ancestry. Lu Qing. For a mantis, this name is as weird as it can be, but compared to his hobbies, the name is normal. Lu Qing, now I order you as a lord, follow me immediately, and go to the annual happy conference with me. This name is too cruel. Soft is not enough, this is going to be hard. Do you really take yourself seriously and order me? I am born to be rebellious today. What the hell am I participating in? What a shitty lord. Don't yell here, my sickle is swinging, and I will cut you into a mantis stick. After saying that, the black sickle was ready to go. Kai Yi was angry, but only for a moment. After all, the one in front of him was a fierce mantis that could chop flying ants with a knife. Chopping flying ants with a knife, killing two with one move, it thought it couldn't do this. Although it was powerful and conceited, and its IQ was not high, it was definitely not stupid. They were both low-level 6th grade, but there was still a difference in strength. If Lu Qing was really pissed off, it, as a lord, would not get any good. What's more, it had a trick that could kill without bloodshed. 3 days, just 3 days, and its estrogen would reach its peak. By then, let alone Lu Qing, who was of the same grade as itself, even a male of the 9th grade would have to lie down obediently, waiting for itself to do this first, then that. In this case, why take the risk? Kai Yi took a step back immediately. I'm not afraid of you, but I'm afraid of hurting you. Facing a big baby like you, I won't use violence. I want to conquer you with charm, that's the pleasure. I'll invite you again in 3 days, I hope you can think it over in these few days. 3 more days. Invite again. Can this little trick fool the cunning Lu Qing? He must have something good to hide. He really wants to eat me all the time. 3 more days, you can talk about it after 3 days. Fighting can win or lose, but pitting the mantis is a win or lose. 3 days, I can't kill you. Lu Qing waved his dark black sickle, waiting for you, get out of here. Kai Yi stopped talking nonsense, turned around and left with a group of mantises. Da Zhuang looked at the backs of these mantises going away and spat fiercely. Relying on your beauty, you don't take us brothers seriously. If you don't run fast, I will punch your stomach. We've all gone far away, and you've leaked it again. Lu Qing glanced at it, you're standing up even after walking a long way, so impressive. Da Zhuang snorted, not bad. You thought I was praising you. Isn't it? Boss, you're praising me so obviously. Lu Qing turned and walked back to the cave. The red stinging bee is definitely another tough guy in the surrounding area. As a zerg with a social structure, the red stinging bee occupies a large area. However, because of its vegan diet, it is not very competitive with other insects. Although it is not competitive, no race will easily provoke the red stinging bee. But today is an exception. The hive was stolen. What was lost was the royal jelly. The queen bee, who reacted, found 2 mantises running away with the royal jelly. Royal jelly is the food for larvae. Once it is lost, some larvae may starve. This is absolutely not allowed. Mantis, my bee race has no grudges against you, why do you want to steal my royal jelly? Lu Qing responded without looking back. Our Lord Kai wants to eat something sweet, so you order royal jelly to give you face, don't complain to me. Take my things or give me face. You don't bully bees like this. The queen bee was furious. Kai, I will remember you. 2 finches passed by the river while foraging. Just when they were about to drink some water, they suddenly heard a sound of breaking through the air. Looking down, they saw a huge mantis running straight towards them. Due to the difference in strength, the 2 finches didn't even have the ability to escape, and were pulled to the ground. Just when they thought they were dead, they were greeted by 2 big guys with sickle fists. The 2 arrow finches were stunned at that time. Maid, a 3rd-grade arrow sparrow dares to fly around in the air. Ah, first give the big guy a fight and then insult us. The egg is of no use to you at this level. If you eat it, you will feel disgusted with stuffing your teeth. Go away, you 2 little pieces of trash. The 2 little arrow finches were so frightened that they didn't know what to do. Lu Qing waved the black sickle blade and said, still not leaving. Could it be that my sword is in trouble? Only then did the 2 arrow sparrows dare to jump. After discovering that the opponent had indeed not made a move, the 2 arrow sparrows dared to flap their wings and take off. Listen up, you trash race. From now on, you have to go around the territory of our Lord Kai. If we, the Mantis tribe, see you, a small race like you, appear in the air in our territory, your legs will be broken. Going against Tiangong, bullying a bird is too much. The arrow sparrow eats mantises, but now it is being insulted like this. Do you think our arrow sparrows have no temper? Don't we think there is no strong person in our arrow sparrow? The 2 arrow finches flew to a safe area, and then they dared to respond. Lord Kai, we remember. Get ready for the revenge of our powerful arrow sparrow tribe. You fools, you have a powerful bullshit. Come on, let's get some fools, our Lord Kai's double swords are already thirsty. The 2 arrow sparrows, who had survived the disaster, flew away quickly with full of anger. Da Zhuang drooled, boss, the arrow bird is a little small, but the meat is very strong. It's better to satisfy your greed than to let go. It's useless to eat a 3rd-level bird. What's more, I still have to make a web. Making a network. What kind of network are you making? Dragnet. Da Zhuang looked incomprehensible. Lu Qing was tossing around very hard. Regardless of whether they are strong races or weak ones, they are all being tossed around. Even the big caterpillars at the bottom of the food chain would be pulled down by him, kicked twice, and thrown up again. After some operations, every race hated the Mantis Lord Kai. Kai felt a little cold for no reason. He couldn't help but shiver his fat body. The leaves haven't turned yellow yet, why do you feel cold? However, when I think of the majestic Lu Qing, my heart is full of fire. If you bear with it a little longer, my estrogen will reach its peak in 2 days. At that time, as long as I exude my charm a little, Lu Qing, who has an interracial quirk, will be spoiled by me. It's so exciting just thinking about it. Just when she was thinking about it, her feet suddenly started to tremble. Its nest is built in a tree and will only do so if the tree is shaken. Kai immediately flew out of the nest. When I saw the situation outside, I was instantly stunned. Lord, what's going on here? The mantises that followed were trembling. There was a saber-toothed pig that was crashing into a tree. This is where the vibration comes from. The saber-toothed pig is about 1 meter long, and its 2 thick dagger-like tusks are its main attack weapons. The black skin is covered with resin and stones, giving it extremely strong defense. Although the saber-toothed pig is petite among its kind, it is definitely a very powerful being for 10 miles around. Because of its natural species advantage, coupled with super endurance, sharp fangs as weapons, and stone armor, it is a powerful being ranked among the top 10 within 10 miles around. There can only be one saber-toothed pig within 10 miles. As the only one, it has a very famous name, called Brown Tail. That brown tail is very beautiful. Kai looked at the butt of the saber-toothed pig and found that the tail was bare, and the stamens and residue were clearly visible. The trembling of the big tree became more and more intense. Under the impact of the saber-toothed pig, a large piece of the bark in the trunk had fallen off. Lord, we didn't provoke it. Why is this pig so crazy? Kai is also full of questions. This saber-toothed pig is similar in size and strength to me, but in ground combat, none of the 3 of us can defeat the other. It is precisely because of this that when we encountered it in the past, we always walked around each other and never provoked it. Why did you come here today and crash into our lair like crazy? As a lord, Kai certainly couldn't let it continue to be destroyed and asked, Brother Brown Tail, why are you doing this? A rough, angry snort came from him. HMPH, you know why. Kai was numb. I know all about it. Brother Brown Tail, you and I have no grudges in the past and no grudges in the recent past. I really can't think of a way to offend you. The saber-toothed pig snorted, humph, pretend, keep pretending. Do you really think I don't know it was you? Kai felt that she was wrong to death. What did I do? The saber-toothed pig was breathing heavily from its mouth, obviously very angry. HMPH, the brown tail that I am most proud of was cut off by your sneak attack. I will not give up until I destroy your nest and destroy your mantis clan today. It continued to attack the thick tree trunk like crazy. Kai was completely stunned. I asked why this pig had no tail. It turned out that it had been cut off. But it's none of my business. That tail sweeps the anus all day long. The smell must be high. Am I still so heavy-mouthed? Misunderstanding. I will never dare to mess with you. Who doesn't know that you are the top existence in the world around you? I can't do this with my strength. Humph, you can't do it. You're so quibbling. Cut it off while I'm getting high after eating the poppies. You must see for yourself what's hanging on the branch of your tree. Branches. As a nest, the entire ancient tree was utilized. Tree branches are usually hung with inedible trophies. This is the tradition of the Mantis tribe. Kai turned around in shock. On a tree branch full of bones, a brown tail hung from a vine. Compared with other trophies, it is so bright. With the breeze, that tail is still fluttering, seemingly showing off their Mantis trophies to the entire world. Kai stiffened instantly. Of course, its first thought was not that it was framed by someone, but that it was done by one of its subordinates. Who is so brave, actually cut off Brother Pig's tail? HMPH, if I hadn't known how to climb trees, I would have killed you all right now. The saber-toothed pig continued to bang its head against the tree, venting its hatred. Kai calmed down. The saber-toothed pig is powerful, but it can't climb trees or fly. Even if it is knocked down, it will just change its nest. However, it would take a month or 2 for a pig to knock down this ancient tree. If you want to hit it, hit it. When Kai was about to give some more words of persuasion, a mantis couldn't resist the temptation after all, and pulled off the pig's tail and stuffed it into his mouth. Complaining while eating. Why does it stink? But that's what I'm proud of. The saber-toothed pig was immediately furious. Eating my tail in front of me and making sarcastic remarks is simply too much bullying. The saber-toothed pig ran back and forth like crazy and bumped into each other. The trembling of the trees became more intense. But Kai still didn't panic. Just then, trouble came knocking. A group of arrow sparrows suddenly appeared like sharp arrows and launched a swift attack. Arrow sparrows suppress mantises. Even if they are of the same grade and rank, they will not be able to withstand a sudden and fierce attack. However, in the blink of an eye, 3 female mantises had their heads pecked and fell to the ground. Kai is a lord after all. His powerful strength allows him to get rid of the suppression of his race and bloodline. He even knocked down one with his sickle. Don't arrow sparrows hunt alone. Why do you come in groups? The 2 arrow sparrows gnashed their teeth and roared, "It's okay for you to humiliate us, but you also humiliate our entire tribe. Now you ask us why." Kai was stunned. Not to mention the giant ant, just today, first the saber-toothed pig, and then the arrow sparrow. When did he make so many enemies? This is wrong. It only realized that something was wrong now. But it was too late. When the arrow sparrow was about to attack again, another group of iron-beaked birds flew over. The leading one had a wingspan of nearly 2 meters. The strength should be around the 7th rank. It's them. Tu died in the hands of these mantises. The iron-beak bird is the natural enemy of the mantis, but Kai is even more confused by the fact that they came to the door with such a large force. How did they offend? A 2nd-rank green worm climbed out of the tree opposite. The green worm roared, "Mantises, I swear to fight you to the death." Even the green worm that was used as a menu jumped out. "I can make trouble so much. Am I a saint who is born to make trouble? Everyone, there must be some misunderstanding here." "Misunderstanding? Let's kill you mantises first. Yes, the hatred will only dissipate when you are dismembered." "No nonsense, let's kill these mantises together." These tribes that didn't communicate much before actually shared a common hatred of the enemy. The dense ants on the ground also came to join in the fun. This time, Kai was really panicked. There are tough ants and saber-toothed pigs on the ground. There are sharp arrow finches and iron-beaked birds in the sky. Even the trees have big caterpillars that are not afraid of death. This is simply a certain death situation. No, let's talk. However, these races no longer gave it a chance to communicate and swarmed it directly. Enemies are coming from all directions, like the tide. It's okay for Kai, after all, the strength and rank are there, even if it is a surging army, it can sustain it for a while. However, the remaining female mantises were not so lucky. They had no room for resistance and were torn into pieces by the flying birds and then swallowed. Kai suddenly became anxious. The reproduction of mantises is imminent, and as a result, there are no bones left before the happy moment. More than 10 years of business operations were destroyed in one fell swoop. Its lord exists in name only. Sad, but now she can't protect herself, so what can she do? Even if he managed to hold on, he looked for opportunities to escape. Dazhuang felt like he had learned another trick. Following Lu Qing, I learned a lot. Hi, really high. So this is what the boss said about killing someone with a borrowed knife. But having said that, I can understand the knife, but what is a human being? What is a person? A kind of 2-legged race, all of them are as smart as me. Dazhuang immediately expressed his surprise, everyone is full of bad ideas. Then this race must be very strong. Lu Qing did not answer, but looked at the battlefield. Several races besieged him, and there was even a low-level 7th grade iron-beaked bird ready to charge at any time. Kai must have suffered a lot. Stop talking nonsense. This place is too close to the battlefield. We have to withdraw to avoid being discovered by these crazy people. The strength of these crazy batches alone is just that, but when combined together, they are definitely not to be underestimated. If these races discover Lu Qing, the instigator, the consequences. Dazhuang shrank his neck. Lu Qing couldn't sit still. While he was still on the road, he had already made plans for the next upgrade. The army of iron-beaked birds and arrow sparrows surrounds the mantis, and the nest behind it must be empty. As an emotional mantis, since there is racial emptiness, then I have to send warmth. Let's go to the cliff. The iron-beaked bird's nest is not very far away, it is built on an ancient tree halfway up the cliff 10 miles away. Generally speaking, mantises don't move very fast, but Lu Qing is different. It is blessed with skills that allow it to burst out with powerful flying capabilities in an instant and then glide a certain distance. Within a few moments, Dazhuang was left behind. This is a strange environment, so Dazhuang feels confused. Boss, you should wait for me. Time waits for no one, and sending warmth must be unexpected. But I'm not human. There is nothing wrong with this, but Lu Qing did not slow down. I'll go check out the situation first and see if there's any danger. The nest of the iron-beaked bird is easy to find. There are dozens of large bird nests built on the ancient trees, and about a dozen females are responsible for incubation and guarding. Some bird nests have already hatched chicks. The grades of female birds are not high, they are all 3rd and 4th grade. The strongest one is just a male responsible for guarding, with a strength of low-level 4th grade. With Lu Qing's current strength, it shouldn't be too difficult to deal with these iron-beaked birds. Once you are sure, there is no need to cover up. Who? The vigilant iron-beaked bird guards heard the noise made by Lu Qing. The other birds all raised their heads and looked toward the top of the mountain. All the iron-beaked birds breathed a sigh of relief when they saw a praying mantis on the top of the cliff. The guard said even more relaxedly, "Don't panic, it's just a praying mantis." The other iron-beaked birds were also relieved. Mantises, one of their favorite snacks, is crunchy. After seeing clearly the strength of these iron-beaked birds, Lu Qing spread his wings and flew down without hesitation. As he landed, the ironbeak's cry of surprise followed. "What a big, plump mantis! Is this a gift from God to us? Now the children can eat less food and no longer have to eat nutritious bugs." Everyone was very excited and had no idea that the danger was coming. Lu Qing landed on a tree branch, and in front of him was the guard of the iron-beaked bird. His height has reached nearly 70 centimeters, and his 2 extremely sharp scythes make him look extremely majestic. Look at this 4th-level iron-beaked bird guard again. Only half the height, you need to raise your head to look at each other. The guard's heart was filled with shock. A mantis is a mantis, but this guy is too exaggerated. The exaggerated body shape and 2 large black scythes really make it intimidating. This is not a snack, this is the king of hell. The guard took a few steps back cautiously. It was a little frightened by Lu Qing, and had long since lost its arrogance. What's the point of this? Lu Qing, revenge. Your army of iron-beaked birds has raided the territory of my mantis tribe. As a courtesy, I will of course take good care of you, Jia Jia Jia. The guard immediately spread its wings and entered a state of alert. Quickly, inform the clan leader. Lu Qing glanced at the other party. Haha, a mantis trying to stop a mantis with its arms. Bah, a bird trying to stop a mantis with its wings. You don't know how to live or die. It's so easy for a 6th grade to fight a 4th grade. He attacked directly and crushed it. The guard's neck was broken before he could even react. Lu Qing had already adapted to the law of the jungle where the strong prey on the weak. He waved his 2 swords and dealt with the iron-beaked birds in a few strokes. There were more than a dozen of them, but there was still one that slipped through the net. A 3rd-grade female iron-beaked bird flew hard towards the cliff, obviously to call back their clan leader for rescue. It only took a few minutes from the cliff to the depths of the dense forest. It took less than 10 minutes to go back and forth. Just when Lu Qing felt that he couldn't eat and drink too much this time, a mantis suddenly jumped out of the cliff. It was Dazhuang who rushed over. Now it has reached the edge of the 5th grade. This powerful attack should not be underestimated. A knife cut on the bird's wings, and the iron-beaked bird that was about to call for help broke its wings and fell down with a miserable howl. Dazhuang landed steadily on the tree branch, somewhat proud. This time, I have turned against Tian Gang. As a natural enemy, the iron-beaked bird eats countless mantises every year. Now Dazhuang has killed a 3rd-grade iron-beaked bird alone. That achievement and feeling are very satisfying. Lu Qing threw an iron-beaked bird to the other party. Don't talk nonsense, hurry up and eat it, so as not to have more dreams at night. Their tribe leader may come back at any time. Dazhuang immediately began to enjoy the spoils. Lu Qing has reached the low-level 6th grade, and the 4th-grade iron-beaked bird guards and several female birds have provided 13 points of blood and flesh value. Dazhuang also had a great appetite and ate 2 iron-beaked birds in a row. He even ate a bird egg as a drink. Lu Qing was not wasteful at all and ate up all the remaining eggs, adding 4 more blood and flesh points. Soon, there were only a few bird eggs left on the ancient tree. The eggs of the iron-beaked bird were equivalent to the second grade, and there was no use eating them. There was no need to waste them, after all, they were not nectar. Let's go. Da Zhuang looked at the eggs reluctantly. Do you want to pull these eggs back? Isn't that nonsense? Lu Qing flapped his wings and flew away. Are you afraid of not having food if you follow me? Just a few eggs, nothing to worry about. Da Zhuang immediately agreed. That's right, following the boss, a guy like me can have the strength of the 4th grade. Wait for me. The branches were either bones or eggshells. The house was stolen. The leader of the iron-beaked bird tribe went crazy instantly. He organized the elites of the tribe to go for revenge, but his home was robbed. Who did it? The raging anger made it want to find the murderer now and tear him to pieces. At this time, an arrow bird landed on the treetop. I just passed by here and saw 2 mantises. The chief was stunned in an instant. Mantis, how is it possible? He just killed all the mantises 10 miles away. How could there be powerful mantises coming to take revenge? Did you see it wrong? The arrow bird took off quickly. I saw it with my own eyes. The 2 mantises are very powerful. Believe it or not. The chief of the ironbeak bird looked at the arrow bird flying away and fell into painful deep thought again. Could it be that the mantises in other territories knew that we besieged the mantis tribe and came to take revenge? Or am I being targeted by the mantis queen? Single quote. The chief shuddered at the thought of the mantis queen's power. Let's go, move away from here. An iron-beaked bird shouted angrily, Chief, all our female birds are dead, and many eggs have been destroyed. Don't you want to avenge such a great vengeance? We also slaughtered the territory of the mantis tribe. Now we may be targeted by the mantis queen. It's hard to say whether we can survive, and we still want to avenge the birds. When they heard that it might be the mantis queen, these iron-beaked birds instantly became obedient. It shouldn't be. We only heard about the existence of the mantis queen. There are too many stories circulating in this ancient forest, and there are too many powerful beings. The mantis queen has only been heard of, and it is hard to say whether she exists. After weighing the pros and cons, the chief said, it is safest to leave this sad place temporarily. After finding a place to stay, we will investigate this matter. Lu Qing was addicted to stealing houses. He originally planned to find the nest of the arrow sparrow again. But he and Da Zhuang didn't know where the nest of the arrow sparrow was. So they had to change their plans. Boss, where are you going to be cool next? Da Zhuang is also addicted to stealing houses. After all, I was hungry for 9 meals in 3 days before, and I was bullied by this or that. Now I really know how comfortable it is to have a full meal every day and bully other species. Lu Qing thought for a while. Now there is only one good place to level up nearby. The nest of the powerful ants. When Da Zhuang heard about going here, his head became a rattle. No, the queen ant is too scary. You just escaped by luck last time. You are going there again this time. The queen ant's mental ability should be very strong. The communication range of general species is only tens of meters, but the queen ant can curse normally and clearly from hundreds of meters away. Strong mental ability does not mean that the combat power must be strong. Da Zhuang only saw the surface. According to racial habits, the main responsibility of the queen ant is to lay eggs. Can the queen ant who gives birth to children all day have strong combat power? Most likely not. Otherwise, Lu Qing would not have cursed without showing up when he ate and drank in its nest last time. It is precisely because of this that Lu Qing is more interested in the queen ant. High rank, low strength, isn't this a good experience package? Are you scared? Then don't go. Unexpectedly, Da Zhuang stood up this time. Of course I'm not afraid. Under the boss's training, I'm so strong now. Then his body softened and he lay on the ground. I'm just a little full and a little sleepy. Before the conversation was finished, it was lying flat, with its fat belly rising and falling regularly. Fell asleep already. Lu Qing kicked it unhappily. Unexpectedly, this guy slept soundly and didn't say a word. It seems that it has been eating and drinking a lot these days and has reached the edge of advancement again. Lu Qing no longer cares about it. After blocking the entrance with a huge rock, he went directly to the ant nest. The vigilance of the ant nest has been significantly strengthened. On the ant hill, there are more than a dozen soldier ants patrolling back and forth. There are also flying ants from time to time in the air. Lu Qing couldn't help but laugh secretly. It seems that the patrol has been strengthened, but in fact there are blind spots everywhere. The queen ant's IQ is really average. He bypassed the patrolling soldier ants without much effort and got into the cave. The situation in the cave was the same as last time. It seems that the queen ant's enhancement is just the surface work on the periphery. The purpose this time is to find the queen ant. After Lu Qing got into the intricate nest, he soon lost his way. If he didn't think of a way out, he would probably be discovered by the soldier ants again, and then be beaten up. By chance, he actually bumped into another new hole where ant eggs were stored. It seems that the hole where the eggs were stored has been moved. At this time, there were several white and transparent ants eating meat worms. These young ants only had the instinct to eat and were not threatening at all. There were more than 50 ant eggs placed behind them. It seems that the queen ant has a good production capacity. It has produced so many in just 2 days. Lu Qing was not polite either. He cut open the ant eggs and absorbed them all at once. The number was really small. After eating them all, the experience bar did not even increase by 1/5. Just when he felt that this trip had little gain, there was movement in the cave. He hurriedly hid in the eggshell, dug a small hole, and looked out. A worker ant walked in with an ant egg. Worker ants have little intelligence and vision, and it may not be their job to patrol, so they did not notice that the eggs were all empty shells. After it put the ant eggs away, it turned and left the cave. Lu Qing came out immediately, and after a little hesitation, he followed. Worker ants have a strict division of labor. This one carrying ant eggs, so it might be dedicated to this. Can I find the queen ant by following it? There is such a possibility. Lu Qing followed carefully behind, turning around in the intricate ant nest. If he was not careful, he would lose the figure of the worker ant. Lu Qing hurried to the place where the worker ant disappeared, and soon found a hidden hole. Walking along the hole, it didn't take long to find the figure of the worker ant again. Lu Qing chased after it. After walking for a while, the worker ant suddenly stopped. It seemed to be waiting for instructions, lying quietly in the same place. There was another hole behind it. Just as Lu Qing was thinking, a voice entered his consciousness. Carry. This was the order of the queen ant. Then an ant egg rolled out. The ox-horse worker ants lifted the ant eggs and continued to carry the work. Lu Qing was immediately excited. The queen ant was in that cave. He had only guessed about the queen ant's strength, and he needed to observe it. If the queen ant was not just a reproductive machine as he guessed, but was powerful, then if he rushed in, wouldn't he be sending himself to death? So he had to be careful. Lu Qing sneaked in. White, too white. The first thing Lu Qing saw when he entered was a huge butt with a diameter of more than 3 meters. The cave was semicircular and very wide. Even though it was wide enough, 1/3 of the space was occupied by this big butt. After seeing this big butt, Lu Qing's heart was hanging. If the butt was so big, how huge must the queen ant be? He took a few steps forward gently, ready to take a look at the front half of the body. He carefully bypassed a natural stone pillar, hiding behind it and looking at the front half of the queen ant. The huge butt is connected to a narrow body. Because the butt is too big, its front half has been suspended. Several small thin legs have also degenerated to the point of being like sticks, and can only do some simple movements. The most prominent are the 2 antennae. The antennae are very long, more than 3 times longer than those of ordinary ants. There are 2 worker ants next to it to feed food. The food it eats is all the best meat worms. Eating in front, the stomach is moving, and giving birth in the back. The queen ant is really an extremely efficient ant production line. Lu Qing checked the information. Race: giant ant, queen ant. Strength: none, low level 7th grade. Commander introduction. The controller of the giant ant colony, with strong mental power, can control the division of labor needs of the colony, and forcibly convert the powerful ant soldiers. Single quote. Lu Qing was happy. Low-level 7th grade with no strength. This is not only a reproductive machine, but also an experience pack. The queen ant has a strong mental power, but it only targets its own kind. In terms of perception, it is almost the same as ordinary ants, otherwise it would not have sensed Lu Qing entering the cave. In addition, it has no vision, so it did not notice until Lu Qing came to the stone pillar. Lu Qing quickly drew his knife, and the two worker ants did not even resist at all, and their antennae were directly cut off. Queen ant, you don't recognize me so soon. How could the queen ant not recognize it? Its short legs scratched quickly, but its huge butt made it difficult for it to move. Lu Qing laughed. You didn't expect it. I'm here again, and I found your true body. The queen ant's mentality exploded. Your tribe has been besieged. Your lord is already in danger. All female mantises are in disaster. If there are no females, your mantis tribe will be extinct. You should save them, instead of trouble me. Save them. Of course, the queen ant didn't know that he, Lu Qing, was the mastermind behind the scenes. He came to the queen ant in a relaxed manner, and patted the other's fat belly with his sickle foot. It doesn't matter. You kill my tribe, I kill yours, let's exchange, I can afford it. The group of female mantises, who had been thinking about eating him after they were happy all day, now using them to exchange for a chance to send warmth, is simply a big profit. He can afford it, but the queen ant can't afford it. If it were worker ants, soldier ants, or even flying ants, it wouldn't be sad if they died, it would just breed more. But now it is it that is in danger. The queen ant's abdomen and buttocks squirmed wildly. Write it off, our grievances are written off. Lu Qing's knife foot fell on the queen ant's antennae. Kill you and it's written off. With one knife, two long antennae fell to the ground. As long as the queen ant's antennae were cut off, it would not be able to command the soldier ants, and no matter how many soldier ants there were, they would not pose any threat. The soldier ants that had originally arrived in an orderly manner seemed to have lost their brains in an instant, and they crashed into a ball in chaos, and even bit each other. After the antennae were cut off, the queen ant was instantly extremely weak. The clear communication before was now almost inaudible. Mantis, my ant tribe is not your mortal enemy. You are despicable and blind bugs. Lu Qing smiled. The law of the jungle, the strong prey on the weak, there is no such thing as despicable. What's more, he is now a bug, so he is even more unscrupulous. Daozu patted the other party's big belly and considered another problem. The queen ant is a breeding machine, and the ant eggs she gave birth to are of 4 grades, which are still useful for me now. So should I keep it in captivity, so that I can have a large number of ant eggs to eat? Originally, I wanted to threaten the other party to compromise. Unexpectedly, once it was revealed, the queen ant gnashed her teeth. You are dreaming. My ant tribe is full of iron armor and full of integrity. How can I be kept in captivity by you? Can't keep it. Lu Qing raised Daozu indifferently. Then I can only send you away. After saying that, he cut it with a knife. The queen ant's defense ability is weak, and one cut directly separated her head and body. The powerful ant cannot be eaten. The main reason is that there is formic acid in the body, which is corrosive. This is also the reason why I didn't do it when I had the opportunity to prey on soldier ants and flying ants before. Similarly, the upper body of the queen ant cannot be eaten. But this fat abdomen can be eaten. The knife cut off a piece of fat and tender meat. After eating it, before I could taste the taste, it had already been converted into energy. Blood value plus 0.2 feet. Not bad, this bite can provide 0.2. Such a big piece is estimated to allow me to upgrade to the 7th rank. Lu Qing is full of energy. In order to avoid being disturbed by the soldier ants without command, Lu Qing directly blocked the entrance of the cave, and then began to brush experience with all his heart and soul. Listening to the prompts that kept appearing, I felt very happy. Just when brushing excitedly, I suddenly heard movement in the corner. Lu Qing crawled over in 3 steps and found a hole only the size of a washbasin. An ant stumbled out of it. This ant was only 20 centimeters in size, and its legs felt shaky when it walked. I pulled up the data and understood instantly. Species: strong ant, male ant. Strength: 1st rank, continued to fall. This is a male ant used for reproduction. Lu Qing looked at the male ant, which was only 20 centimeters tall, and then at the queen ant's big ass, which was 2 to 3 meters tall, and fell into deep thought. No, how is this glorious mission of passing on the family lineage, developing and growing from generation to generation accomplished? He must be very tired, and may be in danger of drowning. After all, the defender is 10 times bigger than the attacker. The queen ant died, and the exhausted male ant collapsed to the ground after only a few steps. Lu Qing freed it with a knife. After eating the 7th grade queen ant, the experience tank is full. Energy accumulation is completed. Do you want to upgrade? Single quote. Yes. All the accumulated energy is instantly absorbed by the body. The feeling of comfort made Lu Qing hum. At the same time, his body began to swell. However, in just a few minutes, the body had swelled to 1 meter in size. The sword foot has also changed. It was as black as ink before, but now it is darker. At first glance, it has a dark and eerie visual sense. Race: Dark Knife Mantis. Level: Low level 7th grade 10.7500. Skill: Deadly Slash Evolvable. Skill: Swift Flying can evolve. Skills have also been enhanced. Especially the flying skill, which turned into a fast and furious flight. This skill should be able to burst out with powerful flying ability in an instant. Good. This time, the hunting ability has been greatly enhanced. With a body of 1 meter, it is easy to get in, but it is a bit difficult to get out. However, with the powerful power of the sword, it was still easy to repair the passage. Along the way, many soldier ants attacked each other like crazy. Without the command of the queen ant, the soldier ants could not tell the difference between friend and foe. There were corpse fragments of worker ants and soldier ants everywhere. Lu Qing is now at level 7, and he can already cut off level 5 soldier ants wearing armor. It was easy to carve out a bloody path. And because of the increased strength, he can go straight forward and open up a direct path to the outside world. It's very quiet outside. Lu Qing turned his head and glanced at the ant mountain. The appearance remains the same, but the inside is ruined. Lu Qing returned to the cave. The boulder blocking the cave entrance has been removed. It seems that Da Zhuang has successfully advanced. I called twice and got a response quickly. Boss, you're back, this way. He looked in the direction of the response and found Da Zhuang not far away, leaning down, as if observing something. Now the strong body has grown to 50 centimeters, and the 2 blade feet have turned red. What are you looking at, so focused? Da Zhuang waved his sword and foot without looking back. Come here, there is something interesting. Lu Qing walked over. Then I saw a large male aphid lying on a female caterpillar on the ground, releasing its primitive impulse. Shocked. Aphids and caterpillars. They both belong to the Zerg tribe, but they are 2 completely different species. I was just talking about the interracial thing, but these 2 guys really took it seriously. Boss, I seem to have seen what you will look like in the future. Ah, you will be your uncle in the future. It is impossible for these 2 low-end bugs to have complex thoughts. What on earth is going on? Da Zhuang chuckled and pointed at a red 9-petal flower on the ground. After I woke up, I was bored, so I randomly fed the big aphid some flower petals. Unexpectedly, after eating, the big aphid started to become irritable, and the caterpillar happened to pass by. Lu Qing's eyes lit up. This thing is so powerful. It's simply a natural tonic. Where did you pick it? Da Zhuang pointed to the south and said, well, there are many more. Lu Qing found this kind of flower after he went there. Counted carefully. 23 plants, and some of the seedlings were not included. The effect of this flower is very magical, but are the branches and leaves effective? Lu Qing caught aphids for experiments. The discovery works just as well. The entire plant, including rhizomes, flowers, branches and leaves, has the same effect, and even the rhizome has the best effect. What a good thing. How could such a good thing not have a name? Lu Qing thought for a moment. Red spring grass. When they pulled out all the red spring grass, Da Zhuang chuckled at the side. Lu Qing turned around and was about to say something when Da Zhuang interrupted him. Needless to say, I understand. Just for fun in the future. You know what, come here and help. Fresh flowers and plants are easy to rot if put directly into the cave, so Lu Qing dried them on the rocks outside the cave. After drying, it can be stored well and may be used in the future. The anthill has been destroyed. Those raised meat insects have become ownerless things. Lu Qing took Da Zhuang there. He tried eating one, but found that the flesh worms were no longer useful to him. However, Da Zhuang enjoyed eating again. The next thing Lu Qing should consider is the experience package. Even though this area was originally relatively barren, the species that could be useful for level improvement have basically been eaten away. Next, it's time to consider expanding your recipe portfolio. Inside the cave, Da Zhuang proposed a place. I heard from Arrow Sparrow that there is a peach garden 50 miles away, where the insect race is flourishing. There are almost all races. There is food everywhere, but it is also very dangerous. Arrow Bird naturally describes it from his own point of view. Generally, there are 3 and 4 levels of arrow sparrows, and coupled with their natural suppression of the zerg, which can make them feel dangerous, then there must be 5 levels everywhere. For Lu Qing, who is at the 7th level, eating at the 4th level is no longer useful, but the 5th level can increase his growth. It is indeed a good place. Let's go there tomorrow. Da Zhuang suddenly became excited. What are we doing tomorrow? Now let's. Hey, boss, do you smell a very fragrant smell? As it spoke, its tentacles trembled up and down. Lu Qing also smelled a very fragrant smell. This is a very unique scent, somewhat different from the intuitive scent. Lu Qing couldn't tell what the specific difference was. Just after smelling it, I feel as if a prehistoric power that triggers impulses is generated in my body. If this prehistoric power is not released, it will gradually become uncomfortable. Boss, no matter how I look at you, you are also pretty. Lu Qing kicked him out of the cave. Then he came outside. There was a praying mantis lying on the ground outside. This mantis has a broken wing, and its crawling forelegs have become 2.5 legs. There were 3 holes in his abdomen, and green blood was leaking out. Lord Kai. Lu Qing looked at Kai's miserable appearance and couldn't help but sigh, what a lucky fate. Iron-beaked birds, arrow sparrows, saber-toothed pigs, powerful ants and many other races were besieging it at the same time, but it was still able to escape. I also instantly understood what that scent was about. Calculating time, Kai's estrogen should have reached its peak. This should be a manifestation of estrogen overflow. No wonder both himself and Da Zhuang have primitive impulses. Hey, isn't this Lord? What's going on? How did it get like this? Kai has not been idle these 2 days. While running for his life, he explored the reasons for the encirclement and suppression. As a result, it discovered that all the races that came to encircle and suppress it were because Mantis was causing trouble under its own banner. Kai finally figured out the context of the matter and knew that it was Lu Qing who caused trouble and framed her. Plus, its estrogen has reached its peak, so it came directly to seek revenge. When it saw Lu Qing appear, it was really surprised. Before, it and Lu Qing were both of the 6th rank, and because of the strong female and weak male, their bodies were much smaller than its own. And now, the other party is actually a circle bigger than itself. You are actually the 7th rank. In its view, this is extremely incredible. The first time I heard that the other party was the 5th rank, and the first time I saw him was the 6th rank. It has only been a few days, and he has reached the 7th rank. Even for female mantises who are naturally more advantageous, it is extremely difficult to advance to the next level. I have been stuck at the 6th rank for 7 years. Male mantises are much weaker in comparison, not to mention. But why can this male continuously upgrade in such a short period of time? And the one next to him. The last time I saw him, he was still the 4th rank. Good guy, now he is also the 5th rank. This is unreasonable. Very unreasonable. It completely breaks the definition of male mantises. Lu Qing shook his wings. You have good vision, I am indeed a 7th grade. Impossible. Males are weak. How could you break through in such a short time? I have been stuck at the 6th grade for 7 years. Haha, if you eat well and sleep well, you will naturally get better. By the way, I have avenged our mantis tribe. Not only did I seriously injure the iron-beaked bird, but I also wiped out the powerful ant nest. Tisk tisk, don't mention it, the queen ant tastes really good, with red lips and white juice. I don't know if it's envy or hatred, Kai's eyes are red. I knew you were playing tricks. Its tone softened instantly, and even smiled a little, but, okay. After paying a huge price, it can be regarded as a reward. As long as I have fun with you and then eat you, I can give birth to our offspring, and I can also take the opportunity to break through to the 7th level. After Shengpan sheds her skin, she will be a brand new me. Kai is extremely confident and has even started to get excited. You are strong, far-sighted, and full of bad intentions, but no matter how strong you are just a stepping stone for my female. It was like this before, and it will be like this in the future. This is destiny, the reward for our female efforts. No one can change it. Lu Qing saw that the other party was confident and knew what it was planning. The player who plays chess is always the pawn. Doesn't exist. At this moment, Kai opened his remaining wings, as if performing some kind of ceremony. Hey, Lu Qing, accept the judgment of fate. It releases all the estrogen. This thing that has a fatal temptation on male praying mantises begins to spread silently, invisible and colorless. Kai is extremely confident. Estrogen is the most advantageous weapon God has given them to control males. Not to mention your 7th grade, even your 8th and 9th grade, you can't resist the arrangement of fate. Under estrogen, you will lose yourself and only think about having fun with me. After being happy, I will be completely stiff, and I can start my mouth wherever I want. Eat you. I can be promoted smoothly, reorganize a new clan, and let the glory of Mantis shine in this territory again. Da Zhuang was the first to be hit. With weak resistance, it immediately became like a pig, and it seemed that its body was starting to lose control. See, boss, I feel hot all over. Kai is full of charm. After Lu Qing's training, it is now full of desire for life. Of course it knows what the consequences will be if it falls. His heart was full of resistance, but his body honestly moved closer to Kai step by step. However, Kai looked down upon this fat 5th grade mantis. All it wants is the most powerful Lu Qing. Seeing Da Zhuang crawling over, Kai kicked him away without hesitation. Get away from the waves. Its eyes were locked on Lu Qing, waiting for him to pounce. Under the influence of estrogen, Lu Qing looked at Kai and became more charming. This thing is really awesome. It seems that estrogen can make a male mantis lose himself, leaving only his original desires. Although he has a mind of his own, his structure is still that of a male mantis. Using thoughts to resist the invasion of estrogen can make you much stronger than a strong person, but you can't hold on for too long. If you want to crack it, you can only kill it with one blow before estrogen secretion reaches its peak. Although Kai is only at the 6th level, one level lower than him, the female is naturally large and powerful, so it is more difficult to kill her with one strike. Unless, Lu Qing walked towards Kai step by step uncontrollably. He struggled to take 3 steps forward and 1 step back. However, under the paralysis of estrogen, he still lacked the ability to control himself. Seeing that she was about to succeed, Kai felt swollen and happy. Ha ha ha, indeed. So what if you are powerful? Why don't you just obediently fall into my arms? No matter how smart you are, you still have no power to fight back at this time. What God has arranged is the greatest. Suddenly, Lu Qing, who was approaching, suddenly revealed 2 hidden knives. Kai's heart was filled with disbelief. Impossible. No reason. Estrogen is specifically designed to deal with males. Once within range, any male mantis will be completely lost in a very short period of time. How could he still show his sickle feet? Is it a coincidence? However, in the next moment, the hidden knife struck directly at its head. It's not a coincidence, it's because I really didn't control him. How is this possible? Of course it wouldn't have thought that Lu Qing's soul came from another world, had powerful thinking ability, and was much more resistant to estrogen than an ordinary male mantis. Of course, it doesn't have time to think about it now. After regaining his senses, Kai shrinks back desperately. Lu Qing's sudden outburst would naturally not be easily avoided by the opponent. However, the closer the distance, the stronger the estrogen, making him a little weaker. The sudden attack did not kill Kai, but it also cut off 2 of its tentacles. Estrogen is emitted through the tentacles. After cutting off, the secretion stopped instantly, and a transparent liquid flowed out from the break. Kai lost its last weight. Ah, my tentacles, my estrogen. You. Why estrogen doesn't work for you? Lu Qing felt the heat gradually dissipating and became less anxious. Of course it works, but not as quickly as you think. Your trump cards are all ruined. Next, I will give you. At this moment, Lu Qing suddenly heard heavy breathing coming from behind him. Turning around to look, the saber-toothed pig was staring with scarlet eyes, panting heavily, and staring at this side. There are still remnants of red flowers in its mouth. The red residue looks familiar. Lu Qing's eyes moved to the stone not far away. There were originally more than 20 red spring grass trees drying on the stone. But now, most of the red spring grass is missing. Lu Qing was speechless for a moment. No, it is indeed a pig, and it dares to eat anything. Judging from the appearance of the saber-toothed pig, you can tell that this red spring grass is probably very useful to it. The scarlet eyes were full of desire. The saber-toothed pig was also a 6th-grade powerhouse, but it had thick skin and sharp fangs, and its hardware was not comparable to that of the Zerg. The last time I bit off its tail, it was when it was high. Even if you have a higher grade, it is not so easy to take advantage of it in a head-on confrontation. What's more, the saber-toothed pig is in this state now. Da Zhuang has woken up, and when he saw the panting saber-toothed pig, his heart was trembling. Boss, what should we do? What should we do? Fly. Lu Qing took the lead in spreading his wings and flew up an ancient tree. Da Zhuang was not slow either. Only Kai Yi was left on the ground. Looking at the saber-toothed pig that was panting and gradually approaching, Kai Yi panicked. The wings were broken, and only 2.5 of the 4 legs were left. Now she couldn't fly, and she couldn't run away. Although she wanted to be happy now, this happiness was based on her own kind, not a pig. Pigs can't bring happiness either. Kai Yi looked at Lu Qing on the treetop pitifully. We are of the same clan, you can't bear to see me, the Lord, being abused by a pig. Lu Qing laughed. You wanted to eat me just now, but now you come to beg me, do you think I'm that stupid? Now Lu Qing just wants to eat melons and watch the show. Kai Yi collapsed. You worm egg, I am the Lord, I command you now. The saber-toothed pig has approached. It drooled, and its nose had already sniffed over. Hee, sister, come, brother found that you are still charming. I was too loud before and ruined your nest. Now I make up for it and love you. Kai Yi has no way to retreat, go home and love your mother. Hee, it's better to love you. Don't come over. We are not of the same species, I'll find a saber-toothed pig for you. The saber-toothed pig has already pounced on it. Hee, don't, this is what I want, excitement. Da Zhuang shook his triangular head repeatedly. Tisk tisk, too cruel. No sense of humanity at all. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.